Okay, done. Just give me a second. Started with all these articles. I've given 17 articles. One on FPI. Second one is China falling into deflation. By the way, today's Hindu newspaper. In today's Hindu newspaper, there is an article on China. Please read that. Today's The Hindu newspaper, there is an article on China. Very big article. Please read that. Third one is IPO listing time frame has been reduced to 3 days now. Can we use the repo rate to reduce inflation rate? That is food inflation. The certificates of deposits, day for yesterday we have discussed. The concept of windfall tax imposed by Italy on banking sector. Sovereign gold bonds, 8 years are over, right? The first issue happened in 2015, right? So sovereign gold bonds, please read that article. There is a very nice question asked by student. Today's Hindu means which date? My dear, today's Hindu means which date, you tell me. Today, what is the date? Government has lost 1 lakh crore rupees with reduction of corporate taxes in 2019. Please read that. This is a very nice article which I cannot emphasize enough. You'll have to read this article. Government of India says we want to become the third largest economy in the global market by 27-28. Third largest. So is it sufficient to become a third largest country, or more important is the real purchasing power of the consumers? The article is on that. Please read this article. Next two articles are regarding Finance Commission. Open editorials in Hindu newspaper, Finance Commission. Next, Finance Commission will have a tough task. That is a 16th Finance Commission. Chart the path for 16th Finance Commission. Again, both articles for 16th. SEBI eyes instant settlement. Please read this article also. USA downgrade. Yesterday we have discussed this. That Fitch has downgraded USA. Please read this article. CDMDF. Yesterday I told you about a CDMDF. Please read this article. Right, and infrastructure bonds by SBI. Some of you are asking where is the link. Just now, right? Let's say around 30 seconds ago, the link for these articles has been pasted. There's an open link. It is available to all of you. Please use that link to download the set of articles. Use the link to download set of articles. Now, another article, import duty on the wheat, right? Rather than imposing export restrictions, we should reduce the import duty so that the imports into India will increase, and that will help us in controlling inflation. And I believe the last article is regarding critical minerals. Last month, we had a discussion regarding critical minerals. Very recently, there is one more grouping within European Union, which has invited India to join this critical mineral group. So article is regarding that. 17 articles are there. Read all the 17 articles and tell me on Monday. Please do let me know whether the articles that I've given, the list of the articles that I've given, whether these are relevant, important, should you read them, right? Or should you skip them, right? Read only Hindu and be very thankful that you have read current affairs for Indian economy. Think of it. Done. So let's start. Let's come to the business now. Yesterday we started with the discussion on international trade. In international trade, we started with the concept of exchange rate. What is a nominal exchange rate? What is exchange rate? Currency will be converted into another currency. Domestic currency will be converted into another currency. At what rate? That is called as exchange rate. Why do you require conversion of one currency into another currency? The reason is very simple. Because India is an open economy, lot of transactions will happen between India and the rest of the world. We will import, we will export, we'll go to foreign market, they will come to India, etc. For all these purposes, we need to convert rupee to dollar, dollar to rupee. And that is the reason at what currency rate, at what rate we will exchange it, it is called as a nominal exchange rate. Now, after that, we have discussed the two methods, right? Two methods, mainly the two methods, the fixed exchange rate and the floating exchange rate. And in case of India, the floating exchange rate type of it is managed exchange rate. Managed exchange rate. And a managed exchange rate simply means for most of the period, we will allow the market to determine the exchange rate. Whether rupee is appreciating, depreciating, it is determined by the market. But when there is a sudden appreciation or sudden depreciation, this is not good for Indian economy. That is the precise reason Reserve Bank of India will intervene and try to stabilize exchange rate. Because if there is a sudden appreciation, there is impact on imports and exports. Sudden depreciation, again there is impact on imports and exports. And that's a reason that whenever needed, Reserve Bank of India will intervene in the market, try to stabilize the exchange rate. Now, what are the factors which will influence exchange rate? We have discussed interest rates, inflation, debt of the government, incomes of the people, the imports and exports. Current account deficit is yet to be discussed. We will discuss it today. Apart from this, speculation, stability, performance of the economy, etc., etc. So these are all the factors which will have influence, which will have impact over exchange rate in a particular country. Now, this is where we are supposed to start. This is where we are supposed to start. Let's start now. One is a nominal exchange rate. Second one is a real exchange rate. Understand these concepts. The concepts are relevant. Concepts are important. UPSC has asked a question. Let's discuss. Nominal exchange rate and a real exchange rate. Nominal exchange rate means what? Today, let's say $1 is equal to 82 rupees. You'll read it in the newspaper. Let's say $1 is equal to 82 rupees, which means to purchase $1, how many rupees would you require to sell in the market? Or if you have $1, okay, am I audible? Let me know, am I audible? Okay, done. That suddenly there was a glitch. That's the reason I stopped. So what is the nominal exchange rate? If you have $1, how many rupees can you purchase using $1? And if you have, let's say 82 rupees, that is how many rupees are required to purchase $1. That is basically the concept of nominal exchange rate. But please think of it. Do you think only the nominal exchange rate will determine what is the value of imports and exports? Think of it very carefully. Do you think only the nominal exchange rate will determine? The important term is only here. Do you think only the nominal exchange rate will determine what is the value of imports and exports? Of course, no. If you're confused, let me give you a very simple example. Right? Your friend is back here. Imagine this bottle in USA. Imagine this bottle in USA will cost you $2. Simple example. Okay. Imagine this bottle in USA will cost you $2, and in case of India, it will cost you 50 rupees. Simple, do not complicate these issues, keep it simple. The bottle will cost in USA $2, and in India, right, it will cost only 50 rupees. Now, if exchange rate is $1 is equal to 50 rupees, please tell me, is it the only nominal exchange rate that will determine whether this bottle will be imported or exported? Of course, no. Why? What about the prices of the commodities themselves? What about prices of the commodities themselves? The price of this commodity in USA will definitely have an impact whether this bottle will be imported or exported from India. For example, just do the basic calculation here. If I convert all of them into single currency, if I convert the price of the bottle into single currency, the bottle in India will cost 50 rupees. A similar bottle in India will cost how much? I'm sorry, in USA will cost how much? A similar bottle in USA will cost how much? 100 rupees. All of you okay with this calculation? Please do let me know. All of you are okay with this calculation. In India, it was 50 rupees. In USA, it was $2. So I've converted the dollar into rupees, which means apart from nominal exchange rate, it is also the price level in different countries. It is the inflation. It is the price level of the commodities in the different countries that will determine whether the bottles will be imported or exported. For example, here the bottle will not be imported into India. The bottle rather will be exported from India to USA. That is the basic idea. So only nominal exchange rate will not determine the value of imports and exports. It is also equally important to look at what is the price level of basket of commodities. And that is the reason there is one more term called as a real exchange rate. Now, before I go forward, do remember what is the basic difference between nominal and real? Think of it. Sir, where have we discussed the concept of nominal and real? If you remember earlier, right, the second class, third class, fourth class, did we discuss the concept of GDP, nominal GDP and a real GDP? And what is the basic idea? Nominal means there is no accounting for inflation. There is no accounting for inflation. The price levels will be included at current level. Whereas if I shift from nominal to real, can I say it is inflation adjusted? Correct? If I move from nominal to real, what does it mean? It is adjustment with inflation. Apply the same logic here also. Do not complicate it. Apply the same logic. Meaning, in nominal exchange rate, what was the price level in different countries? We did not consider it. But when I say real exchange rate, what are the price levels? What are the price levels of commodities in different countries? We will consider. For example, look at the formula. Real exchange rate is equal to nominal exchange rate, price level in the domestic market, price level in the foreign market. Meaning what? Can I now say, right? I'll give a statement. Please do let me know whether this makes sense to you or not. Can I now say real exchange rate is nothing but nominal exchange rate adjusted with inflation? I'll repeat the statement. The real exchange rate is nothing but nominal exchange rate adjusted with inflation. Because we are considering the price levels in different countries, are we not adjusting that with right inflation? Of course, yes. But what is the meaning of it? What is the importance of it? Importance is very simple. In nominal exchange rate, we'll simply compare currencies. I repeat, in nominal exchange rate, we are simply comparing rupee versus a dollar. But in case of real exchange rate, it is a comparison of international competitiveness. In simple terms, how many goods in India, right, equivalent to how many goods in USA. For example, please think of it. What if I were to say, using the same example that I've used earlier, what if I were to say two bottles in USA is equal to one bottle in India? Let me know. Correct or not? Think of it. Is the equation correct? Using the earlier equation, using earlier thing, that is $2 in USA, that is equivalent to, right? Let's say the $2 for the bottle price in USA is price of right equivalent to price of one bottle in India. Is it correct? Let me see how many of you think correctly. Please use the earlier numbers. Please use the earlier numbers. Two bottles in USA is equal to one bottle in India. Does it make sense to you, or it should be vice versa? Think of it. Is this equation correct? Do not think whatever I write will be correct. Please think properly. It is wrong. It is wrong. Can I say it should be vice versa? That is, with the money, with the same amount of money, I can purchase two bottles in India and only one bottle in USA. All of you okay with this? With the same amount of money, I can purchase one bottle in USA and two bottles in India. Now everybody is okay with this equation. So always think. This is wrong. This is correct with the earlier exchange rate. Now this is called as a real exchange rate. This is basically called as a real exchange rate. What is a real exchange rate? It is the rate at which domestic goods can be exchanged with foreign goods. Correct now? Any problem with this statement? It is the rate at which domestic goods can be exchanged with foreign goods. That is, with the same amount of money, how many goods can I purchase in USA? How many goods can I purchase in India? That is basically the concept of real exchange rate. Anybody has a problem so far? Please do let me know. Logic is very simple. Do not complicate it. Nominal means we are comparing rupee versus dollar, rupee versus euro, rupee versus pound, currency versus currency. Whereas a real means we are adjusting the nominal exchange rate with price levels, that is nothing but inflation, so that I find out what is the trade competitiveness of India versus USA, India versus UK, India versus China, India versus Japan. That is the reason in a real, it is comparison of goods. In nominal, it is simply a comparison of currencies. What is the importance of all of it? What is the importance? Why should we understand real exchange rate? Now think of it, just think of it. One bottle in USA, one bottle in USA is equal to, let's say, two bottles in India. One bottles in USA is equal to two bottles in India. Now let's say this real exchange rate increases. I hope you understand this. Let's say this real exchange rate increases. That is, again, please understand, I'm comparing USA with India. Please understand the logic behind it. I'm comparing USA with India. One bottle in USA is equal to two bottles in India. Now, what if real exchange rate increases? That is, one bottle becomes is equal to three bottles in India. Now, please tell me, do you think exports from USA will become more competitive if real exchange rate increases? Think of it. I'll repeat it again. Please think of it. From one bottle is equal to two bottles, USA versus India, to one bottle is equal to three bottles, again USA versus India. So if this is the movement in the real exchange rate, do you think exports from USA have become more competitive? No, my dear, exports do not become competitive. Why? Think of it. It simply means for equal amount of money, if I can purchase, let's say hypothetically 150 rupees now, assuming $1 is equal to 50 rupees, for 150 rupees, I can purchase only one bottle in USA, but three bottles in India. So don't you think USA's exports will become more costlier in the international market and India's exports will become more competitive in the international market? I hope you understand the logic here. Any problem here? Please do let me know. USA's exports will become less competitive because they are costlier. India's exports will become more competitive. Can I now say, rather than exporting from USA, now you will be able to export bottles to USA? Let me know. Rather than exporting bottles from USA, now you will be able to export more bottles from India. Any problem in understanding this? It's not complicated. Simplify it. My dear, using some amount of money, you can purchase one bottle in USA, but three bottles in India. Think of it. You can purchase three bottles in India. So rather than purchasing from the domestic market, will you not import from India? Yes or no? Can you not import bottles from India? Arey Baba, listen. No, you people are not listening. Some of you, sir, replace money. Did I not write 150? Listen first. Listen first. Did I not write 150? Using 150 rupees, you can purchase one bottle in USA, but you can purchase three bottles in India. So will you not import a bottle from India? How difficult is it? Will you not import a bottle? And of course, yes, you will import the bottle. Now, rather than this, what if I say with the same amount of money, you can purchase one bottle in USA, but four bottles in India? Will you not import more bottles in India? That is the basic argument. Right? So understand the logic here. Whenever you have real exchange rate, and for a country, real exchange rate starts increasing, imports will become cheaper. Imports will become cheaper and exports will become less competitive. Can you understand this? I'll repeat it again. Whenever for a country, real exchange rate starts increasing, I repeat, real exchange rate starts increasing. I've made a comparison for USA here. I've made a calculation for USA. For USA, real exchange rate has increased. So when real exchange rate increases for a country, imports will become cheaper, exports will lose competitiveness. All of you okay with this? Can we go forward now? Nominal effective exchange rate will go forward. Nominal exchange rate indicates the rate at which two currencies can be exchanged. Real exchange rate measures the rate at which domestic goods can be exchanged with foreign goods. Right? In case of a real, it is comparison of goods. In case of nominal, it is simply comparison of currencies. Second, concept of a near and a rear. Very complicated. Let's simplify. Do not be worried about calculations here. Focus now. Second is nominal effective exchange rate, real effective exchange rate. Now, can you see the term that I've written here? After a near and a rear, I've written a term. What is the term? Both are indices. Both are indices. Indices means what? Let me give a very simple example. Do you remember WPI and CPI? Please tell me. Do you remember WPI and CPI? What are WPI and CPI? Both are indices. What do we do in case of indices? I'll just give a very simple example because I'll connect it to near and rear. Please listen carefully. Imagine price level of basket of commodities in base year was 100. Today the price level has increased to 117. Can I make a comparison and say inflation is 17%? Yes or no? Inflation is simply 17%. Now come to the point here. Now come to the point. Point number one. Do you think India will conduct a trade only with USA? Think of it. Do you think India will conduct a trade only with USA? No. India will conduct trade with multiple countries. With multiple countries. This is point number one. Sir, why should we consider multiple countries here? Because the argument is, if a dollar to euro, right? Let's say dollar to euro, dollar to pound, the exchange rate varies. I'll repeat. So dollar to pound and dollar to, right, a euro exchange rate varies. Will this have an impact on rupee to set of currencies? Think of it. If dollar to pound, dollar to euro, the exchange rate varies, will this have an impact on rupee value or not? Does it make sense to you? Will it have an impact on rupee value? It should have. I hope you understand. It should have an impact on rupee value. Why? Imagine you are an exporter sitting in Europe. Simple example. You are an exporter sitting in Europe, but you are exporting to India. So what you will do? Rather than exporting, let's say at 1 euro, because of exchange rate, now you will start exporting at 2 euros. Will this have an impact on rupee exchange rate? Of course, yes. Because you are exporting to India, I need to convert this rupee to dollar to pay you. So obviously it will have an impact on rupee exchange rate. So can I go forward now? Any problem? So far, what is the point I'm trying to make here? So far, I was simply comparing rupee versus a dollar. But now the argument is not just rupee versus dollar. You should consider multiple currencies to compare the value of rupee. Because we are not conducting trade with only one country. We are conducting trade with multiple countries. That is the reason in case of a near and rear, in case of both a near and a rear, it is always a basket of currencies. It is a basket of currencies, not just one currency, it is basket of currencies. How many currencies are there, sir? 40 currencies are taken. Point number three, think of this and please answer now. Point number three, think of this and answer. Imagine 1 rupee is equal to $0.6. Imagine 1 rupee is equal to $0.6. Now 1 rupee will become $0.8. Now please tell me, in this example, if I move from here to here, has rupee appreciated or depreciated? Think of it and please answer. We have discussed all of it. You will have to start thinking now. Here 1 rupee is equal to $0.6. Now 1 rupee is equal to 0.8. Can I say rupee has appreciated? Some of you are confused. Can I say rupee has appreciated, my dear, appreciated? Sir, how? Very difficult now. Earlier you talked about dollar to rupee. Now you have suddenly changed rupee to dollar. Simple logical understanding. If I move from the first to second, am I paying more dollars to purchase same rupee? Simple. Do not complicate it. Right? If I move from first to second, am I paying more of dollars to purchase same rupee? Which means value of rupee has increased. Correct or not? Think of it. Many of you said depreciated. No, my dear, it has not depreciated. It has appreciated. Because from here to here, Now you are paying more dollars to purchase same rupee, which means you are giving more currencies, more dollars to purchase same rupee, which means value of rupee has increased. It has appreciated. Are you even now some of you are confused? Even now some of you are confused. My dear, $1 is equal to 50 rupees. $1 is equal to 60 rupees. Please tell me in this example, dollar has appreciated or depreciated? Please tell me in the second example, this one I'm talking about, the boxed one. Has a dollar appreciated or depreciated? It has appreciated. Why? Because you are paying more rupees to purchase dollar. Now, there are certain students who do not understand the meaning of appreciation and depreciation. Please read, please revise yesterday's class then. Revise, right? Doesn't matter how many times, how many examples I'll give, right? You will not understand it. Please revise yesterday's class. Whenever you're paying more currencies to purchase the same currency, the other currency has appreciated. The value has increased. So in this example, come back to the red box now. Come back to the red box. In this example, rupee value has appreciated. Now, rather than comparing the currencies like this, I will use indexation. Rather than comparing currencies, I will use indexation. What is the indexation? Imagine 1 rupee to, right, compare to dollar, it is $0.6. I will write this as 100 units. Don't ask me, sir, why are you writing 100 units? Do you remember indexation? CPI, WPI, indexation. So 1 rupee is equal to 0.6. I will write it as 100 units. Now, please tell me, if this increases to 120 units, if this increase to 120 units, does it mean 1 rupee is equal to $0.72? Let me know. Right? 1 rupee is equal to $0.72. Does it mean you're moving from 100 units to 120 units? Yes or no? Please use calculator now. If you're not understanding calculation, use calculator. Right? Basic CSAT calculation. Basic CSAT calculation. If you're confused, right, write it like this. 100 units, right? When it is $0.6, it is 100 units. When it is $0.72, how many units? Do the calculation, you will get it. Now, if it is a $0.9 for 1 rupee, can I write it as 150 units? Let me know. Can I write it as 150? Any problem here? So now tell me, simple question to all of you. Now tell me, let's say in 2022, it was 150. In 2023, it will fall down to 140. Has rupee appreciated in the last 1 year or depreciated in the last 1 year? Please think of it. In 22, it was 150. And 23, it becomes 140. So based on this, tell me, has rupee appreciated or depreciated? All of you will say it is depreciated. Last 1 year, 22 to 23, it has depreciated. Now, 23 to 24, this will increase from 142, let's say 147. So from 23 to 24, has it appreciated or depreciated? From 23 to 24, it will increase from 140 units to 147. Has it appreciated or depreciated? In this example, I'll simply say it has appreciated. Now, all of you okay with this? All of you okay? Because rather than using comparison of currencies, we'll start using numbers now. We'll start using index numbers. All of you okay? That is, if the index number compared to last year, I repeat, that is the index number, right, compared to last year, if it increases, does it not mean you are paying more foreign currencies to purchase 1 unit of domestic currency? I'll repeat the statement. Please think. If the index number increases, does it not mean you are paying more foreign currencies to purchase 1 unit of domestic currency? So can I say domestic currency has appreciated if the index number goes up? All of you okay with this statement? If the index number goes up, domestic currency has appreciated. If the index number compared to last year has gone down, domestic currency has depreciated. Please remember this. Please remember this. This is a very simple concept, but it's complicated because many of you start wondering why is he talking about 100, why 120, why 150. We are indexing. We are indexing. So point number one, India will conduct a trade with multiple countries. Now, second point is, until now we used to compare rupee versus dollar, only one currency. Now we should not compare one currency with another currency. We should compare rupee with basket of currencies. And third one is concept of indexing, right? Concept of indexing in simple terms, if the index number goes up, then it simply means rupee value has increased, it has appreciated. If the index number goes down, rupee value has depreciated. So these are certain points. Now let me go to the next point. Effective exchange rate. Effective exchange rate. First one is a NER, nominal effective exchange rate. Second one is a RER. RER basically stands for real effective exchange rate. Long form is there in the slide only. Please have a look at it. Now, what is a NER here? What is the meaning of NER? Simple concept, understand this. It is the weighted average of bilateral nominal exchange rates of rupee in terms of foreign currencies. And please tell me, there is a term called as unadjusted here. Unadjusted means what? Think of it and please tell me now. Unadjusted means what? Unadjusted means, can I say it is not adjusting for inflation? Correct or not? It is not adjusting for inflation. Inflation price level is not a concern here. They are simply comparing rupee versus basket of currencies. That's it. Please understand this concept. Rupee versus basket of currencies. Right? Why we are comparing rupee versus basket of currencies? The argument is that rupee will not conduct, that is India will not conduct trade with only one country, but rather with multiple countries. Rather with multiple countries. And that is the precise reason rupee will be compared against basket of currencies, not just one currency. Now, if I index this value of basket of currencies, very simple. If I index this value of basket of currencies and I say from the base year, this index value has increased, right? Let's say from the last year, this index value has increased. Now, does it not mean, understand the earlier point and apply it now. If I'm comparing rupee versus basket of currencies and if I index it, and from the last year, the index number has increased, can I now say I am paying more of basket of currencies compared to last year to purchase same rupee today? Think of it. Very simple logic. Whatever you have learned, apply it now. We are, right? Let's say from 22 to 23. Imagine this basket of currencies, indexation is done. Index number has increased from, let's say, 120 last year to 123 now current year. From last year 120 to current year 123, the index number has increased for basket of currencies. Can I simplify and say that the basket of currencies today we are paying more of basket of currencies to purchase same 1 rupee? Yes or not? Apply the last, right, earlier slides logic, you'll understand. Same logic you apply. Here we spoke about only one currency. Now instead of one currency, you're talking about basket of currencies. Right? Is it not that we are paying more in terms of basket of currencies? Now can I say rupee is appreciating here? Correct? Please understand. Now can I say rupee is appreciating here? And right, compared to last year, imagine the index number will fall down to 115. Index number will fall down to 115, which means to purchase same rupee, now in basket of currencies, we are paying lesser. Right? In terms of basket of currencies, we are paying lesser to purchase same rupee, which means if the index number will fall compared to last year, I'll simply say rupee is depreciating. All of you okay with this? Please do let me know. All of you are okay with this? Anybody has a problem? If you find this right very difficult, etc., then by heart. Then simply by heart it. Right? In none of the books they will give you calculation. If you want calculation, this is how the calculation is done. Right? This is how the calculation is done. For nominal effective exchange rate, the formula is pi n I is equal to 1 within the bracket E upon EI and WI whole to the power WI. Right? Many of you are asking, sir, what is this weightage? Weightage is a trade weight. Weightage is nothing but trade weight. I'll come to the trade weight. Before that, please do let me know, will UPSC ask you these kind of formulas? I'll put a big red mark now. Just give me a minute. Will UPSC ask you these kind of formulas? E upon EI and P upon PI whole to the bracket trade weight. Now, please think of it. Do you think UPSC will ask you these kind of calculation? Which means you do not have to be worried about these formulas. Do not be worried about these formulas. But at least based on the formula, you tell me what is the basic difference between near and rear. Let me know. What is the basic difference between near and rear? Can you look at the formula and tell me what is the basic difference? Can I say in case of rear, we are adjusting with price levels? Correct or not? We are adjusting with price levels. Now, before I go forward and discuss related to near, can I say rear is nothing but rear after adjusting? I'm sorry. Can I say rear is nothing but near after adjusting for price levels? Let me know. UPSC can use all of these statements in prelims. Can I say rear is nothing but near only, but after adjusting for inflation, after adjusting for price levels in different countries? It's a basic idea. Now, come to the point here. This is how near and rear formulas are used. Should you by heart the formulas for GS paper 3? Absolutely no. Please do not waste your time. But what is the basic idea? What is the basic idea? We are comparing value of rupee against basket of currencies. But let me ask you one more very important point here. Do you think rupee versus dollar, rupee versus euro, you'll be able to find out what is the actual value of rupee without taking into consideration how much of the total trade we do with USA in terms of a dollar and let's say European Union in terms of euro? I'll repeat the statement. Can you find out what is the value of rupee just by comparing nominal exchange rate without considering, I repeat, without considering how much of the trade we do in terms of dollars, that is with USA, and how much of the trade we do with European Union in terms of euros? You cannot come to know what is the value of rupee without adjusting for trade. That is the reason. Can you look at the formula now? Please do let me know. Can you look at both of the formulas? In the power number, right? In the power for the whole bracket, there is a WI. What is a WI? WI is called as a trade weight. WI is nothing but trade weight. Now, is it okay if I say near is nothing but comparing value of a rupee against basket of currencies along with the trade weights with different countries? Let me know. I'll repeat it again. It is there in the definition here. You can see it. Nominal effective exchange rate, near, is the weighted. Weighted means, right, trade weights. It is the weighted average of bilateral nominal exchange rates of the rupee in terms of foreign currencies without adjusting for inflation. Any problem with this? If all these, right, let's say concepts are difficult to, especially rear and near, please by heart them. Question has been asked by UPSC. UPSC will not ask you about calculation, but conceptual clarity should be there with you. Can we go forward now? Any problem with near? Can we go forward? Can I say If NIR index will increase compared to last year, rupee has appreciated against a basket of currencies. And if a NIR compared to last year, the index has fallen down, rupee has depreciated compared to last year. Right? Is the logic okay with all of you? Now there is one more concept, REER. Right? Concept of REER, real effective exchange rate. It is the weighted average of nominal exchange rates adjusted for price levels or adjusted for inflation. Same logic. We are comparing, right, the price levels in India with the price levels in foreign countries. But again, the argument is, unless I compare what is the price level in Europe, what is the price level in USA, price level in Japan compared to India, I will not be able to come to know what is the overall trade competitiveness of India. For example, let me know, please do let me know, if this bottle will cost 50 rupees in India, if this bottle will cost 50 rupees in India, and let's say $2 in USA, do you think this will determine overall trade competitiveness with $1 is equal to 50 rupees? I repeat, if this bottle will cost $2 in India and $2 in USA and 50 rupees in India, and if exchange rate is $1 is equal to 50 rupees, do you think overall trade, that is important, please understand this carefully, overall trade competitiveness can be found out for India? Think of it. Do you think that is possible? From India to USA, you can find it out. Very simple idea. Between India and USA, we can find out. Can you find out India and UK using this? Can you find out India and Japan using this? Can you find out India and China using this? Of course, no. So now, don't you think in a real exchange rate, we can only find out India and USA, trade competitiveness between India and USA. But is it sufficient to find out overall trade competitiveness? No. Don't you think now we will have to compare price levels in all the other countries as well? Yes or no? Now we will have to compare the price levels in other trading partners as well. For example, many of you will ask me, sir, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Let's take a very simple example. Imagine the same bottle will cost, right, let's say 0.1 euro. The same bottle will cost 0.1 euro. And let's say 1 euro is equal to, right, or $1 is equal to, let's say, right, 10 euros. Now, don't you think even this will have an impact? Even this will have an impact on overall trade competitiveness of India? Please do let me know. Please think, Baba. Some of you are not thinking. If this bottle will cost, let's say, 0.1 euro and $1 is equal to 10 euros, don't you think even this will have an impact on trade competitiveness from India? That is, whether we will export the bottle to Europe or we will import the bottle from Europe. Don't you think this is also very important for you? Please think. Some of you actually do not think. Right? Don't you think what is the price level of this bottle in every country will determine, apart from exchange rate, will determine whether we will export or import from European Union? Of course, yes. So that is the reason. Look at REER now. Please look at REER. Does it make sense? Rather than only comparing nominal exchange rates, we are comparing even the price levels. Right? We are comparing even the price levels. That will indicate overall trade competitiveness. Overall trade competitiveness. Now, how do you understand the REER index? Simple. Remember real exchange rate? Please tell me. Remember real exchange rate. In real exchange rate, I was comparing, right, let's say 1 bottle to 3 bottles. I just make a comparison. 1 bottle is equal to 3 bottle and 1 bottle is equal to 4 bottle. Can I make it into index now? Think of it. Can I convert into index? Can we convert this real exchange rate into index? Yes or no? That is, let's say one bottle is equal to 3 bottle, I'll take it as 100. Can I write when it is one bottle is equal to 4 bottle, can I write it as 133 units? Yes or no? Please use calculator if you are unable to understand. Right, 3 bottles is equal to 100, 4 bottles will become 133. Now please tell me, if I convert this into index, if the index number increases, what will happen to trade competitiveness? Simple question to all of you. Are Baba, trade competitiveness, I'm not talking about currencies here. Please understand. In real exchange rate, it is a trade competitiveness. It is not exchange rate, it is trade competitiveness. I'll repeat it again. If the index number increases, what will happen to trade competitiveness? Trade competitiveness will come down. Yes or no? Please think, please think. Right? If one bottle is equal to 3 bottles, that is, let's say you are sitting in USA, using money, you can purchase one bottle in USA, but 3 bottles in India. You are sitting in USA, by the way. Now, with the same amount of money, you can purchase one bottle in USA, but 4 bottles in India. So can I say trade competitiveness, that is your export competitiveness will decrease. And on the other hand, can I also say, right, the imports will become cheaper, imports will start increasing. Yes or no? Again, please understand, I'm talking from the context of USA. Why you people do not listen, I don't understand. In this example, real exchange rate, listen to me and answer now. Whatever example I'm giving, am I talking from the context of USA or not? Think, please think before answering me. When I'm giving you this example of real exchange rate, am I comparing from the context of USA or not? So no, I want it to be from India's viewpoint always. Okay, right? Don't worry. Applied for India only then. Applied for India. If you listen to me, you'll understand the concept. But if you do not listen to me, then I can't help it. I am saying compare between USA. You are sitting in USA. But you're saying, no, sir, but for India, this will happen. Then let's change it. Right? If you can't understand the concept, there is no point. Concept is important. Let's say in India only. You can purchase. Now I'm talking from India. At least be happy now. Imagine you have 100 rupees. You can purchase one bottle in India, but you can purchase 3 bottles in USA. 3 bottles with the same 100 rupees in USA. Now, with the same 100 rupees, you can purchase one bottle in India, but 4 bottles from USA. Even now, tell me, what will happen to trade competitiveness? What will happen to export competitiveness for us? Our export competitiveness will decrease. Right? That is important. Our export competitiveness will come down or not? Of course, yes. What about imports? Imports will become cheaper. Is the logic okay at least now? Sir, always talk from India. Okay, give the example of India now. Our trade competitiveness will basically fall down if real exchange rate for India increases. And if real exchange rate for India decreases, our trade competitiveness will increase. Okay, all of you okay with this? Can we go forward now? I'm audible now. There was certain glitch. I did not discuss. Okay, am I audible now? Am I audible now? Okay, so you do not have to be worried about calculation. Simple logic. Please tell me now. I did not discuss anything for the last 30 seconds. I did not discuss anything. Please tell me now. If a rear index will increase, what does it mean? Please tell me now. If a rear index number, just like real exchange rate, if a rear index number will increase, what does it indicate? Think of it. If rear index number, right? A rear index is basically basket of goods, right? And I hope you understand this. If a real exchange rate is one good in India with one good in USA, real effective exchange rate is one good in India with basket of goods from the foreign market. If real effective exchange rate increases, can I say export competitiveness will go down? Yes or no? Export competitiveness, trade competitiveness of India will go down. And on the other side, what will happen to imports? What will happen to imports? Imports will start increasing. Can we say vice versa also? Can you say vice versa? That is a real effective exchange rate. If it decreases, export competitiveness will start increasing. Imports will become costlier. Imports will become costlier. All of you are okay with this? All of you are okay with this? Please do let me know. If it is very difficult to you, please do not focus on calculations. Please do not focus on calculation. Focus on the concept. Right? A REER basically compares one good in India with a basket of goods. That's it. That's it. One good in India with basket of goods. So if I'm paying more in terms of basket of goods, that is a REER increasing, which means a basket of goods have become cheaper. Correct or not? Think of it. REER compares basket of goods with one Indian good. If a REER number increases, it simply means I'm using more of basket of goods to exchange for one good, which means basket of goods have become cheaper. Automatically, imports should start increasing. India's exports will become costlier. All of you okay with this? Right? So RBI calculates both the NEER and the REER. RBI calculates both NEER and REER. Okay? It will calculate both NEER and NEER. There are two set of currencies. There are two baskets of currencies which are used by RBI. One is a basket of 6 currencies. Second one is a basket of 40 currencies. The base year for the calculation of both the NEER and REER is 15 and 16. 2015 and 2016. Can we go forward now? Okay, so rise in NEER indicates that domestic currency is appreciating against a basket of currencies of trading partners and vice versa. Whenever REER increases, it means exports become more expensive and imports will become cheaper. Loss of trade competitiveness. Please remember these kind of statements. UPSC last year has asked questions on this. They will continue to ask questions on this. Can we go forward now? Can we go forward? Monthly. Sir, how often RBI calculates it? For every month, RBI will keep on calculating and publishing the number. Every month, RBI will keep on calculating and keep on publishing the number. Okay. If imports become cheaper, does that always mean import increases? Not necessarily. Please understand, not necessarily. Right? Not necessarily. Why? What if government of India, right, imposes a restriction on the imports? I hope you understand. What if government of India imposes restriction, bans the import? Doesn't mean, right? I hope you understand that. Okay. Both the NEER and REER are published by RBI. Yes, both of them are published for every month by RBI. Example of NEER. Arey Baba, I told you no. Numbers. If you ask me example of NEER, these are published in numbers. What example you want me to give? What example you want me to give? These are published in numbers. Right? Compared to last year, if the NEER increases, you know what will happen because of that. What is the meaning of it? Understand it. Okay. Can we go forward? How does change in dollar and euro affect Indian rupees? Arey Baba. Right? Imagine you're an exporter in European Union. You are exporter in European Union. Today, right? Today, one. Okay, some of you said that I'm not audible, so I've refreshed. Am I audible now? Some of you stated that I was not audible. I refreshed. Am I audible as well as visible now? Okay. So the question was, sir, if a dollar versus euro, the rate will change, how it will affect rupee? My question is very simple. Imagine today $1 is equal to $1 is equal to 10 euros. Imagine $1 is equal to 10 euros. And after 1 month, it will become $1 is equal to 20 euros. Now imagine you are an exporter of this bottle or importer of this bottle sitting in European Union. And I have given the price of this bottle at $5. I have priced this bottle at $5. Now, please tell me when you will change, when your exchange rate will vary like this. I repeat, you are sitting in European Union. Listen to me carefully. You are sitting in European Union and you will use euros to purchase this bottle from India, and the price of the bottle is $5. So please tell me, will it affect your imports or not? Think of it. Will it affect your imports or not? Of course, yes, it will affect. And rather than importing, if you're exporting, you're exporting to India, and you have priced this bottle, right? Let's say at $5 again. Will this have an impact on India's exchange rate? Will this have an impact on India's exchange rate? Of course, yes. Because when a dollar versus euro will keep on changing, you will keep on changing the price of the bottle. Correct? Let me know. Right? Yesterday we have discussed appreciation, depreciation, how you will change the bottle prices. Imagine you want to earn, simple. Imagine you want to earn, right, 20 euros by selling this bottle. You want to earn 20 euros by exporting this bottle to India. So in the first example, you will price the bottle at $2. Correct? In the first example, you will price the bottle $2. And in the second example, you will basically price the bottle at $1. So when the price of the bottle coming from European Union will start changing, will my imports from European Union start changing or not? Apply logic here. Apply logic. If the price of the bottle which is coming from European Union will start changing, will my imports from European Union start changing or not? Of course, yes. They will also start changing. And will it have an impact on rupee versus a dollar exchange rate? As a result of this, will it have an impact on rupee versus dollar? Again, answer is yes. Right? So that is the precise reason. The whole idea why did we do all of this circus is precisely that. Right? It's not just rupee versus dollar. It is a dollar versus pound, dollar versus euro, dollar versus right yen, dollar versus yuan. All those exchange rates will have an impact on rupee exchange rate. Okay, come to the next point now. Purchasing power parity. Purchasing power parity. What do you mean by purchasing power parity? Purchasing power parity simply means using the same currency. By using the same amount of currency, I'll be able to purchase same set of goods and services in two different countries. I'll repeat it. Understand this very carefully. What is purchasing power parity? Using same set of currencies, I'm able to purchase same set of goods and services in two different countries. That is, it is a theoretical exchange rate at which you can buy the same amount of goods and services with another currency. Meaning what? Let me give you a very simple example. Imagine, right? Imagine for a basket of currencies, the price is $2 in USA. Sorry, basket of goods, price is $2 in USA. And the price in India for similar basket of goods and services, right, is 100 rupees. Similar basket of... Okay, am I audible? Okay, so let me continue. Right, so for a similar basket of goods and services, it will cost you 100 rupees in India. Now, let's say $1 is equal to 50 rupees. Think of it. Let's say $1 is equal to 50. That is a nominal exchange rate. Can I say with the same amount of currencies, I'll be able to purchase same set of goods and services in both of these countries? Simple question. Arey Baba, think. You people are not thinking. Please think, no? Please think. Right? For a basket of goods and services, in USA it is $2. In India it is 100 rupee. And if the exchange rate is $1 is equal to 50, can I say with the same amount of currency, whether $1, 50 rupee, doesn't matter, with the same amount of currency, right, I can purchase same set of goods and services in both of the countries. Does it make sense to you or not? That is, if you convert it, $1 is equal to 50. That is the nominal exchange rate. Now, $2 will become is equal to 100 rupees. Correct? $2 is equal to 100 rupees. Correct or not? Which means using $2, I can purchase these set of goods and services which are the same even in India at 100 rupee. Even in India at 100 rupee. That is the concept of purchasing power parity exchange theory. I'll repeat it. What is purchasing power parity? It is a theoretical. It doesn't apply in real life. I'll tell you why. Have patience. I know some of experts are sitting in the classroom. I know that. Right? But theoretical exchange rate using which I can purchase same set of goods and services in two different countries. Is it applicable in this example or not? Please do let me know. Is it applicable in this example or not? That is, whether I have $2 or 100 rupees, it doesn't matter. Whether I have $2 or 100 rupees doesn't matter. I can purchase same set of goods and services in USA as well as in India. This is called as purchasing power parity. This is called as purchasing power parity. Now, let me give you one more definition. In case of purchasing power parity, UPSC can throw a bomb at you and say, it means a real exchange rate is equal to 1. Right? I'll prove it. Just have patience. In case of purchasing power parity, it simply means real exchange rate is equal to 1. Now you'll ask me, how, sir? How in case of purchasing power parity, how do you say real exchange rate is equal to 1? Do you remember the formula? Do you remember the formula for real exchange rate? That is price levels in the domestic market, price levels in the foreign divided by price levels in the foreign market into nominal exchange rate. Right? Into nominal exchange rate. Now, right, take any of the countries. Take any of the countries, doesn't matter because you will get 1. Right? That is basically, right, if you write the price levels in India, 50 rupees. Right? Price levels in America, $1. But what is, right, basically the exchange rate here? What is basically the exchange rate? Exchange rate versus rupee to dollar, it is nothing but 1 upon 50 rupees. That is 0.02. If you convert that, it is 0.02. So 50-50 will get cancelled. Real exchange rate will become equal to 1. So again, please do not be worried about calculation. Do not be worried about calculation. Focus on the, you're taking some amount of money. Using this amount of money, you can purchase same set of goods and services either in India or in USA. This exchange rate is called as, right, exchange rate at purchasing power parity. And always remember, in case of purchasing power parity, real exchange rate is always equivalent to 1. Real exchange rate is always equivalent to 1. Please remember this number. Now, can I go forward? Can I go forward? It allows for the comparison of the purchasing power of various world currencies to one another. Let me ask you a very simple question. What do you think is a better indicator? Per capita income or per capita income at purchasing power parity? Think of it. Please think of it. If you want to compare, right, India versus USA, India versus UK, India versus right, Japan, what is better? Should you just compare what is per capita income of India, per capita income of USA, or you should compare per capita income at purchasing power parity for India and per capita income at purchasing power parity for USA? Don't you think the second one makes a better sense compared to the first one? I hope you understand. The second one makes better sense compared to the first one. Right? That is the reason whenever, right, think of it. Whenever government says India will become the third largest economy, second largest economy in the global market, do you think that means there is a guaranteed improvement in the quality of life of the people in India compared to USA? Think of it. Right? Please think of it. Does it mean there will be guaranteed improvement in the quality? Right? Don't you think quality will be determined comparatively? Quality will be determined at purchasing power parity. That is, using same amount of money, whether you are able to purchase more and more goods and services in India compared to that of USA. So that is the reason. If at all these kind of questions are asked in UPSC, think carefully. Increased GDP number does not necessarily means, right, quality of or standard of living of the people has increased, right, compared to USA, compared to UK, compared to China, etc. What we need to ensure is you will have to increase per capita income at PPP levels. I hope you understand. Per capita income at PPP levels, you will have to increase. That means quality or the standard of living of Indians compared to USA is actually increasing. Done? Can I go forward now? Sir, where have you discussed per capita income? My dear, per capita income we have discussed in GDP chapter. Per capita income we have discussed in the GDP chapter. Please go back to GDP and have a look at it. All right. In fact, there is one statement. In fact, there is one statement which says, although per capita income indicates, please check it now or after the class. Although the per capita income indicates a standard of living, but it is not a standard of comparison between different countries. It cannot represent a standard of living of different countries, right? And that is the reason there is a term. In fact, I've written the term there, purchasing power parity. Then we will have to compare at purchasing power parity, and I'd written a term also. We will discuss this under international trade. Done. So any problem with what we have discussed so far? How real exchange rate is equal to 1? My dear, please go back to this. Please go back to this formula. What is the real exchange rate formula? What is real exchange rate formula? Price levels in the domestic market, price levels in the foreign market into nominal exchange rate. Now, right, understand, nominal exchange rate is $1 is equal to 50 rupees. Correct? Nominal exchange rate is $1 is equal to 50 rupees. Now, what is the price level in the domestic market? 50 rupees. 50. Again, sir, why 50? I will take it as 100. Then, right. Sir, actual price was 100 rupee. Right, 100. Price level in the foreign market. What is the price level in the foreign market? $2. Correct? $2. And what is the nominal exchange rate? What is the nominal exchange rate? $1 is equal to 50. Can I convert that? That is, right, $1 is equal to 50 means, can I write it as 1 upon 50 now? Let me know. Can I convert this exchange rate to 1 upon 50 or not? That is, if I want to make it into fractions, convert this dollar into rupees, is it not 1 upon 50 of a dollar? Yes or no? So substitute 1 upon 50. So 100 divided by 2 into 1 upon 50. So 2s are 2, 50s are 50, 50 cancel, real exchange rate is equal to 1. But that's a basic idea, right? So whenever real exchange rate is equal to 1, we simply say currencies are at purchasing power parity. Whenever real exchange rate is equal to 1, we simply say currencies are at purchasing power parity. Do not worry about calculations. Some of you keep running behind calculations. Trust me when I say this, UPSC will not ask you calculations. Now come to the point. Why have I written it is a theoretical exchange rate? Why have I written this as a theoretical exchange rate? Now, in this example, please look at this example. Sir, which example? Right, I will use a red marker now. This example. Can all of you see this example? Please look at this example. In this example, can I say currencies are at parity? Let me know. Right, in this example, that is, right, in this example 1, can I say currencies are at parity? Which means using same currencies, I can purchase same set of goods and services, India and USA. Now, please tell me, is it possible to export from India to USA in this situation? Let me know. Is it possible as per the calculation? Please do let me know. Does it make sense to export from India to USA? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Why? If we export from India to USA, according to this theory, it will still cost $2 in USA. Are Baba, please think, no, some of you are saying, yes, sir, it will make sense. How? Please tell me how, right? You people are not thinking. Let's start applying common sense now. If this bottle is 100 rupees in India and similar bottle is $2 in USA, exchange rate is $1 is equal to 50. You will export it at what price to USA? You will export it at $2. Correct or not? You will export this at $2. But in the domestic market, that is in USA, already the product price is $2. So what is the incentive for them to import from you? And is there any incentive for USA to export this bottle to India? No, there is no incentive. So whenever purchasing power parity is applicable, that is the currencies are at parity, imports and exports according to this theory will not happen. Because the currencies are at parity, right? Imports will not take place, exports will not take place. But in reality, it is not that easy. In reality, it is not that easy. Why? If you export this bottle to USA, is it just going to become $2 or will it become more than $2? Think of it. Is it going to become just $2 or because of transportation? Because of transportation, because of taxes imposed by the government of USA, will it not become more than $2? Right? So as per the theory, imports should not happen to USA, right? Because the price is same, but in reality, price will not be the same. Because of these kind of charges, prices will become much more higher. That is the reason I've written the term theoretical exchange rate. It's a theoretical exchange rate. It doesn't apply in real economy, real events, because in real economy, transportation cost will be accounted for. Taxation shall be accounted for. Here, you are not accounting for any of them. That is the reason I've said it is just a theoretical exchange rate. Theoretical exchange rate. Okay. Now, let me go forward. Whenever you read about GDP, understand next concept now. Whenever you read about GDP rankings are given under two types. There are two types or two classifications under which GDP ranking is given. And I'll take a very simple number here. Very simple number, understand it. Imagine GDP value is equal to 1000 rupees. Imagine GDP value is equal to 1000 rupees. Now, one is at nominal exchange rate, NER, and the second one is at PPP, purchasing power parity. Let's say at a nominal exchange rate, $1 is equal to 50 rupees. And let's say at purchasing power parity, hypothetical calculation here, $1 is equal to 20 rupees. Now, please use your CSAT mind and tell me, if $1 is equal to 50 rupees, can I say GDP in terms of dollars at a nominal exchange rate will be equivalent to $20? Correct or not? I'll repeat it again. GDP, let's say, is 1000 rupees, right? A nominal exchange rate is $1 is equal to 50. So can I say GDP at a nominal exchange rate will be equivalent to $20? Apply the logic on the other side also. Can I say GDP at PPP, purchasing power parity, will be $50? So please tell me, when you calculate GDP number using nominal exchange rate and at purchasing power parity, that is nothing but real exchange rate, don't you think at real exchange rate GDP number will be higher compared to GDP number at nominal exchange rate? Done? That is the precise reason. Generally, you will come across these numbers. GDP, when they are calculating with the nominal exchange rate, it will be somewhere around $3.7 trillion. It will be somewhere around $3.7 trillion. Whereas when they use GDP at purchasing power parity, it will be somewhere around $12 trillion. Somewhere around $12 trillion. And that is the precise reason even India's ranking will also change. How? They'll say GDP at a nominal exchange rate, India is the fifth largest. Right? And we want to become the third largest, second largest over a period of time. Whereas a GDP at purchasing power parity, they'll say India is the third largest. Correct? If you have read the newspaper, all of these are there in the newspaper. I'm not throwing anything new to you people. All of these, that is India's rankings, are very often cited in the newspaper. But now tell me, all of you understand, all of you are able to understand why India's ranking under PPP will change and under nominal exchange rate will change. Are Baba, how difficult is it? Nominal exchange rate is $1 is equal to 50. Open the calculator now. I'm strictly telling you people, open the calculator. Who say, sir, this is all difficult? Open the calculator. $1 is equal to 50. $1 is equal to 50 rupees. Again, some of you will say, sir, this is also very difficult. Let's say 50 rupees is equal to $1. 1000 rupees is equal to how many dollars? Calculate. What you will get? You will get $20. I will call this as a GDP at a nominal exchange rate. Come to the other side. Right? Imagine purchasing power parity. The exchange rate is $1 is equal to 20 rupee. Now convert this GDP number, which is in rupees, into dollars. Same calculation. 20 rupees is equal to $1. 1000 rupees is equal to how many dollars? That is, the GDP at purchasing power parity will become $50. Then I said, can I say GDP at purchasing power parity is greater than GDP at a nominal exchange rate? And that's a reason. That's a reason you will see whenever you talk about GDP at a nominal exchange rate, it will be around $3.7 trillion. And whenever you talk about GDP at purchasing power parity, it will be somewhere around $12 trillion. Because this number will be greater than the other number. Very simple logic. Right? The PPP number will be greater than the nominal exchange rate number. And these numbers that I've taken, these are just to make you understand hypothetical calculation. And that's the reason India's ranking at PPP calculation will be much higher compared to India's ranking at nominal exchange rate. This can be asked in UPSC earlier, right? 3 to 4 years ago, this was asked. Again, they can ask you. Again, they can ask you, please be very, very careful. Please be very, very careful. UPSC can trick you into answering these questions. Okay, can we go forward now? All of this is the discussion regarding exchange rate. Exchange rate. Okay, let me go forward. Next is the concept of balance of payment. BOP, balance of payment. Now, what is the meaning of balance of payment? It is a record of all transactions that take place between India and the rest of the world. ROW means the rest of the world. I'll repeat the statement. What is the balance of payment? It is a record of all transactions between India and the rest of the world. For example, India will export something, receive payment, write it here. India will import something, make a payment, right? Record it here. India will receive remittances, right? From India, salaries will go out of India. India will receive FDI from India, FPI will flow out of India. All the transactions, I repeat, all the transactions between India and the rest of the world will be recorded here. Now, please do let me know, can I basically say it records all the import and export transactions? Please understand this term very carefully. I'm not saying imports and exports. I am saying it will record all the import transaction. Import transaction means any transaction that will, right, that will basically lead to inflow of dollars into India. And export transaction, any transaction that will lead to export of dollar from India. Can I say it will record all the import and export transactions from India? Done? Right? So that is basically the balance of payment. BOP. Anybody has a difficulty in terms of understanding the definition? Reserve Bank of India, right? It is Reserve Bank of India which will maintain, right, the balance of payments. So what are examples? I'll go to that only now. right? I'll go to that only. I'll go to that argument only. What are the examples of these transactions? For example, please have a look at this now. Balance of payments are generally, that is in case of India, are divided into two parts. One is called as a current account. Second one is called as a capital account. And please understand this, in the international practice, in the global market, International Monetary Fund, IMF, International Monetary Fund, IMF, will say that you will have to have three accounts. Right? Understand this carefully. In India, we have only two accounts. Traditionally, we are having only two accounts. But IMF in the last 1 decade says we should have three accounts rather than two accounts. Now, what are the three accounts? One is called as a current account. Second one is called as a capital account. Third one is called as a financial account. Third one is financial account. But in India, what RBI does is merge a financial account and capital account, have only one account by the name of capital account. And the second one is as usual, the current account. Then any problem with the point number 2 here? Can we go forward? Right, the balance of payments is prepared by RBI. RBI in India, RBI traditionally has only two accounts in the balance of payments, current and capital, whereas IMF, International Monetary Fund, it says rather than having two accounts, we should have three accounts: current account, capital account, and financial account. What RBI does is it will merge a financial account into capital account, have only two accounts, current and capital. Right now, right, in case of balance of payment, what will record? Dollars coming into India, dollars going out of India, which means whenever dollars will come into India, can I say these will be recorded under revenue side of the balance of payment? Let me know. Whenever dollars will come into India, it's a revenue for India. So we will write it under the revenue side of the balance of payment. And any transaction that will lead to outflow of dollar, it is expenditure for India. I will write it under the expenditure head. For example, please tell me now, for example, I have not written the term, that I'll ask you. Okay, let's go forward. Right, I've refreshed. Right, I don't know, for some reason there's a glitch. I've informed the concerned people. They said they'll look into it. Don't worry. I'll speak now. I did not discuss anything. You have not missed anything. Let me speak. Right, I was about to say, let me ask you one example. You will have to tell me whether it is revenue or right expenditure. You will have to tell me. Let me ask you a question here. Imagine company in India. Imagine a company in India will borrow under external commercial borrowings. Will borrow under external commercial borrowings. Please tell me, will you put it under the revenue account or under the expenditure account? Right? Will you put it under the revenue account or expenditure account? Under both. How? Those who are saying revenue account, you are correct. Right? Under both, how, my dear? Under both, how do you put right this particular ECB then? No, you will not put under both of them. Under expenditure, no, you are wrong. If you are borrowing money, is the dollar coming into India or going out of India? Under ECB, please go back. Right? Day for yesterday we have discussed. Under ECB, when you take a loan, are the dollars coming into India or going out of India? Dollars are coming in. And if the dollars are coming in, under which head should you put it? Under the revenue head or under the expenditure head? You will have to keep it under the revenue head. All of you are okay with this? All of you okay with this? Right? So under the revenue head, it should go under the revenue head. Now, what is the basic difference between a current account and capital account? What's the basic difference? How do you differentiate? Please remember, in case of right capital account, generally we keep all those transactions, which are basically going to add to assets or liabilities. I will repeat the statement here. Right, under the capital account, right, basically will keep all the transactions, right? All the transactions, right? Basically, which are going to add to or change assets or liabilities, right? For example, external commercial borrowing. You tell me now. Those are asking ECB has to be paid back, etc., etc. My dear, when it will be paid back, in which year it will be paid back, it becomes part of expenditure. How is it difficult? You take a loan today. Will you repay the loan today itself? No. You will repay the loan after 5 years. So after 5 years, when the dollars will go out of India, we'll write it under expenditure. But my question right now is, you take a loan today. Is it part of revenue or expenditure? It is a part of revenue. So I hope you understand this. Anything to do with or any transaction to do with assets or liabilities, you will keep it under the capital account. For example, I've written foreign direct investment here. Please tell me, a foreign company will come into India, set up a manufacturing facility. Is it not adding to the assets in India? Let me know. Is it not adding to the assets in India? Of course, yes. Right? ECB, you will bring into India. Is it not adding to liabilities of India? Of course, yes. So argument is simple here. Anything to do with assets and liabilities. Now some of you will ask, sir, what about foreign institutional investment? A foreign investor will come to India, invest in stock market. Has it added to the assets or not? Is it addition to the assets? Of course, yes. So anything to do with the assets and liabilities, will keep it under the capital account. And second, anything to do with the national income, will keep it under the current account. Anything to do with the national income, will keep it under the current account. For example, let me know. Please go back, open in your mind, open GDP. Will imports and exports affect the national income? Yes or no? Import and export, will it affect national income or not? Of course, yes. Will remittances coming in, remittances going out, will it affect income? Yes. Right? Compensation? Yes. Right? So generally understand the logic here. Current account will consist of all the transactions which generally have impact on national income, whereas capital account will generally have an impact on assets and liabilities. This is the point of difference between current and capital. Now focus on the component within the current account. Let's enter into current account now. Focus on the component within the current account. There is a term called as export and import. Right? Think of it. Exports and imports. That is goods and services imported, goods and services exported. Focus now. Now, what is the basic idea? Please look at the table. Do not waste your time. Do not by heart anything from the table. Do not waste your time. Please do not by heart anything right in the table. But what you need to observe, start focusing. Generally, instead of using the term goods, they will use the term merchandise. They will use the term merchandise. And right, instead of using the services, they might also use the term invisibles. They might also use the term invisibles, because services you cannot see, these are invisible. Now focus on the table. Please focus on the table now. And merchandise, exports as well as imports. Now focus on the table, and is it okay if I say the value of exports that we have done generally is lesser than value of imports that we do? Let me know. I'll repeat it again. Focus on the table. Your eyes should be on the table and listen now. Is the value of exports lesser than value of imports that we do in case of goods? Whereas in case of services, can I say value of exports is greater than value of imports? Whenever you come across this, it simply means in case of merchandise, can I say dollars will flow out of India, whereas in case of services, dollars will flow into India. Any problem in understanding this? I'll start using technical terms now. In case of merchandise, overall dollars will flow out, And in case of services, overall dollars will flow in. Now, what is the technical term here? Whenever dollars will come into India, we call this as a surplus. We call it as a surplus. Whenever dollars will go out, we call it as a deficit. Now, can I say, in case of services, we have a surplus, trade surplus, and in case of merchandise, we have a trade deficit. Anybody has a problem? I'll repeat it again. In case of merchandise, we have a trade deficit. In case of services, we have a trade surplus. Overall, what is the situation? Overall, right? That is inclusive of the goods as well as services, right? Overall, there is a trade deficit in India. All of you are okay with these statements? Please do let me know, right? If the dollars are coming in, it is called a surplus. If dollars are going out, it is deficit. So in case of merchandise, there is a trade deficit. In case of services, there is a trade surplus. But overall, right, there is a trade deficit. Now, point number 2, right, have a look at this table. Any problem with this table? Let me know. Any problem with this table? Trade surplus means value of imports is basically smaller than value of exports. Dollars are coming in. Trade balance means value is the same, and trade deficit means value of imports is greater than value of exports. Dollars are going out of India. Dollars are going out of India. This is a basic idea of a trade surplus, trade deficit, and balance of trade. Now, point number 2 here. Whenever you talk about trade balance, surplus, deficit, etc., generally India experiences trade deficit. Generally, India experiences trade deficit. But please understand, it doesn't mean that with all the trading partners, India has a trade deficit. With some of the countries, we have trade surplus. With some of the countries, we have trade deficit. But overall situation for India is always a trade deficit. For example, India has a surplus. India has a surplus. Okay. Okay. So India, let me continue. India has a surplus. India has a surplus with USA. India has a trade surplus with USA. And India has a trade deficit with China. Very often these terms you will come across in the newspaper. Listen now. India has a trade surplus with USA, whereas India has a trade deficit with China. But overall, India generally experiences a trade deficit, right? Overall, there is generally a trade deficit. Now, point number 3. Is it that having a trade deficit is always a problem? Please listen to me now. Is it that having a trade deficit is always a problem, always a concern? Answer is no. Why? Generally, what we do is, whenever you talk about deficit, you talk about imports. It is because of imports we have a deficit. But when we talk about imports, we generally divide the imports into 2: necessary, right, or they will use the term essential. Right? Government of India will use the term essential and non-essential. Essential and non-essential. But technically, how do you define what is essential and what is non-essential? This is a technical definition. Any product means either good or services for which we have sufficient domestic production capacity. I'll repeat the statement. Any product that is either good or a service which has sufficient domestic manufacturing production capacity, we will call this as a non-essential if it is imported. Is it okay? Can I give you example of a non-essential import? What about toys in India? Please tell me, what about toys in India? Don't you think we have sufficient production capacity for toys in India? So should we import this product into India? Think of it. Should we import this product from China? Should we import this from USA? Should we import it from right? Let's say the Japan, etc. We should not import it. But if I import it, can I call it as a non-essential import? Can I go forward now? Can I call it as a non-essential import? But on the other side, crude oil, tell me now, crude oil, do we have sufficient production capacity of crude oil in India? Absolutely no. Right? Do we have sufficient production capacity of crude oil in India? Absolutely no. Right? Demand is very, very high. Supply from the domestic market, production is very less. So we do not have sufficient production capacity in India to satisfy the demand. Hence, we will import it. So now can I say, if the imports will start increasing because of essential commodities, essential imports, that is not a problem. But if you start importing more and more non-essential products, and this will contribute to trade deficit, then we will have to reduce these non-essential imports. I hope you understand this. Anybody has a problem, please do let me know. If essential products are imported, and that will cause right a higher trade deficit, because we do not have capacity in India, there is no way we can control it. But on the other side, if you are going to import more and more non-essential imports, and that will contribute to a higher trade deficit, don't you think government should target these and reduce the non-essential imports? That is the argument. Can we connect it to current affairs now? Can we connect it to current affairs? There is a particular reason why I have written toys here. Why? If you have seen, government of India in the last couple of years, has been promoting more and more production of toys in India. If I'm wrong, correct me. Please check current affairs, you'll understand it. Right? Even Prime Minister in some of his Man Ki Baat, that is speeches, promoted more and more consumption of domestic toys that is produced in India. And that is a precise reason in the last couple of months, especially in the last 1 year, import of toys has come down. We have started exporting toys now. Import of toys has actually come down. We are exporting toys now because we have sufficient the production capacity in the domestic market. Now, please understand, before I go forward, do not try to divide all the products into essential and non-essential, because what is the situation at that point of time, that will determine whether it is essential or non-essential. I hope you understand my argument. Some of you are asking, sir, tell me where the bottle will fall. Tell me where this will fall, where that will fall, etc., etc. Don't you think what is the production capacity in that year will determine, or in that duration will determine whether this is essential or non-essential? So how? My dear, agriculture product. Do you think production for agriculture commodities is constant, right, every year? Think of it. No, apply common sense, automatically you'll understand. Is it constant every year? So don't you think in 1 year where production capacity has fallen by 40%, 50%, no option for you but to import? Does it make sense to you or not? On the other side, right, when there is a very high production, does it make sense for you to import it? No. So again, I hope you understand, the classification of essential and non-essential is not constant. Government will also keep on changing that classification or the category of goods. So do not worry, understand the concept. So any problem with this concept of a trade deficit, a trade surplus and trade balance, and why, right, we need to focus on imports, right, what are essential, what are non-essential, etc. Now come to complete current account. Right, look at the complete current account. Let's say the revenue in the current account is greater than expenditure in the current account. I'll repeat the statement. Look at the complete current account. Let's say the revenue in the current account, revenue means receipts, inflow of dollars. Receipts or the revenue under the current account is greater than expenditure. Then this is called as a current account surplus. If it is vice versa, it is a current account deficit. And if it is same, that is the expenditure is same as the receipt, we'll call this as a balanced current account. Sir, what do we observe in case of India? What generally we observe in case of India? In case of India, we generally observe current account deficit. Generally, in case of India, we observe a current account deficit. Read the newspapers, you will come across this. Generally, in case of India, we observe a current account deficit. Now, the question is, current account deficit means more dollars are going out of India compared to dollars coming into India. All of you are okay with this? When I say current account deficit, it simply means number of dollars which are going out of India is more compared to dollars coming into India. For example, if $100 billion are going out of India and $80 billion are coming into India, can I call this as current account deficit? Please do let me know. I'm talking about CAD now. I'm talking about only current account. Right? Do not worry about capital. Do not worry about import, export. I'm talking total current account. Right? So $100 billion going out, $100 billion, sorry, $80 billion coming in. Can I call this as a current account deficit? Now, question is, from where will you get this extra $20 billion? Because $20 billion extra has to go out of India. From where will you get this extra $20 billion? One, you will get it either from the capital account. You will get it either from the capital account or you will get it from the forex reserves. Simple. You will get it from the capital account. Some of you are saying, sir, consolidated fund of India. My dear, consolidated fund of India, rupees are there. You require dollars. Understand the difficulty here. Right, the balance of payments, it is dollars, not rupees. So if you need to pay extra $20 billion, from where will you get it? One way to get it is, there is a huge amount of inflow in the capital account. That is, now let me know, if the amount of money under the capital account received is greater than amount of money flowing out of India under the capital account, can I say this is a surplus? Let me know. I'll repeat it again. Please think of it. Right? If you're getting confused, look at the table. If the amount of dollars that you're receiving under the capital account is greater than the amount of money flowing out of capital account from India, can I say this is a surplus? Which means more dollars under the capital account, extra dollars are coming into India. Can we use this surplus from the capital account to adjust for the current account? Does it make sense? Can we use extra dollars which are coming under the capital account to pay for dollars under the current account? Answer is yes. But what if it is not surplus, rather this is also deficit? Right? Now problem will arise. Right? What if rather than surplus in the capital account, this also deficit? Deficit means what? I'll just take a simple number here. Imagine these put together in the capital account are $200 billion. $200 billion. And these put together in the capital account are worth, right, let's say $300 billion. So can I say there is a capital account deficit here? Or can I say there is a deficit in the capital account? Please answer, participate. After this, we'll take a break. Don't worry about the break. Focus on the discussion in the classroom. So in this example, can I say there is a deficit in the capital account? Means we have received $200, but to rest of the world, we will have to pay $300, right? $300 billion. So there is a $100 billion deficit. So now question is, from where we will get all of these dollars? Because you cannot print dollars, I cannot print dollars. From where? We will get it from forex reserves. We will get it from forex reserves. But more importantly, let me enter, right, one more term to you people. Let me throw one more term at you people. Imagine, right, imagine overall revenue side is, right, let's say $250 billion. Overall revenue side is $250 billion. Overall expenditure side is $500 billion. Overall expenditure side is $500 billion. Now can I say there is a balance of payment deficit of $250 billion. Let me know. This is a BOP deficit. Overall means we are looking at overall BOP. Can I say there is a BOP deficit of $250 billion? So whenever there is a deficit like this, from where we will get the money then? From where we will get the dollars? We will simply use the forex reserves. We will simply use the forex reserves. Yesterday also we have discussed this. What is the role of RBI? Supply dollars in the market, right? Supply dollars, sell the dollars, right? This is called as sale of forex reserves, sale of reserves by Reserve Bank of India, right? So basic argument is simple here. Basic argument is simple. Either you can have a BOP deficit or BOP surplus. If BOP deficit is there, we need to, right? We need to give more dollars to rest of the world. We will take them from forex reserves. And on the other side, if there's a BOP surplus, that is extra dollars are coming into India, then, right, we can basically add these extra dollars into forex reserves. There is increase in the forex reserves. That is the reason forex reserves are very, very important. Now let me introduce next term to you. What if the BOP deficit is $250 billion and the forex reserves that you have are $200 billion? Tell me now, right? Think of it. The BOP deficit that you have is worth $250 billion, but the forex reserves that you have are $200 billion. Don't you think even after exhausting the forex reserve, there will be deficit? Simple question to all of you, right? Overall, after taking all the forex reserves, I've exhausted all the forex reserves. Even then, I will have a deficit here. I will have to get more dollars to pay to the rest of the world. This is called as a BOP crisis. This is basically referred to as BOP crisis. BOP crisis means what? You will be exhausting. You will be exhausting all your forex reserves. Even then, you have to pay money to rest of the world. In that case, what will happen? Sir, in that case, what should we do? One of the methods to address the issue of BOP crisis is basically approach International Monetary Fund and borrow from IMF. Very simple. Right now, if you look at the current affairs example, have you come across IMF providing loans to Sri Lanka? Have you come across IMF providing loans to Pakistan? In fact, yesterday there was an article regarding Pakistan, right? The next round of loans to Pakistan, it is becoming more, right, uncertain from IMF now. What is the issue? Don't worry. But keep on reading about IMF. So can I simply say, whenever there is an issue of BOP crisis, member countries, they will have to go to IMF, right? And they can borrow from IMF. That is the basic idea. That is the basic idea how balance of payments will work out in each of the countries. Can we go forward now? Can we go forward? Again, don't worry about loans given by IMF. Don't worry about loans given by IMF. There are different types of loans given by IMF, right? We'll discuss that later when I take up IMF. Any problem with what I've written here? Please do let me know. Any problem with what I've written? Okay. Right, please revise all these concepts. Some of you are asking, sir, all these are relevant. Should we read them? My dear, questions have been asked by UPSC. Please be very careful. Does India have a BOP surplus or deficit? Please check Google. In the last 2 years, India has been having BOP deficit. In the last 2 years, even this year, it is expected to have BOP deficit, right? So India has a BOP deficit now. Now, if there is a BOP deficit, balance of payment deficit, how do we take care of it? How do we basically take care of it? One, promote more and more exports. We can take care of BOP deficit? Yes. By decreasing imports? Yes. Reduce the non-essential imports? Yes. Doing all the above simultaneously. Overall imports you reduce. Essential imports also, non-essential imports also you reduce. Right, exports you promote. So do all of the above simultaneously. Encourage more and more FDI and FII, right? Currency devaluation, we can go for currency devaluation. Please tell me now, what is the impact of currency devaluation on, right, the inflow and outflow of imports and exports? I hope you remember yesterday's discussion. If there is a rupee devaluation, what will happen to exports? Please think of it and tell me. Exports, will they become more competitive? Yes. Imports, will they become more costly? Again, yes. Some of you already forgotten. That some of you are saying, sir, imports will become cheaper. No, my dear, imports will become costlier. So can we control imports by making them costlier compared to domestic market? Yes. Can we promote more and more exports competitiveness in the international market? Again, yes. That is the impact of currency devaluation. Currency devaluation. But please understand, in case of India, do we go for currency devaluation? Answer is no. We have not gone for currency devaluation. The last time we went for currency devaluation was back in 1991. The last time we went for currency devaluation was back in 1991. Why? You'll understand that later. There was a crisis in India. There was a crisis in India. That is the precise reason. There was a devaluation done by Government of India in two rounds, 1st of June and 3rd of June 1991. After that, we have not gone for currency devaluation. We have introduced the concept of floating exchange rate. That is specifically managed floating exchange rate. So the long-term way out is always to promote more and more exports. Promote more and more exports. If you promote more and more exports, right, look at the advantages. Look at the advantages. Does it not mean more production is taking place in India? Think of it. Sir, why should we target exports? Why should we always keep on promoting exports? Does it not mean production is increasing in India? What about GDP for India? What about right, employment in India? What about investments in India? So think of it. You can control, I hope you understand, you can control BOP deficit by controlling imports. But don't you think a better way to control BOP deficit will be to promote more and more exports? Right? Because essential imports, you cannot control them. They'll keep on coming into India. Whereas if you keep on promoting exports, that will basically have lot of multiplier effect like this. That will have lot of multiplier effects because of this. Done? So these are some of the ways in order to address the issue of balance of payment deficit. Now, please tell me, except this one, except the devaluation, don't you think Government of India is doing all of this? Let me know. Except devaluation, except this point, don't you think Government of India is doing all of them? Is Government of India promoting exports? Yes. Is Government of India, some of you are saying no. My dear, read newspapers carefully. Those who are saying no, tell me what is the reason also. So is Government of India promoting exports? Yes. Is Government of India trying to control imports? Yes. Best example, right, basically is the recent one, laptops, personal computers, etc., etc. Right? Is Government of India trying to control non-essential imports? Yes. Best example, toys. Earlier, we used to import a lot of toys from China, but now Government of India has imposed restrictions or importing of these kind of the toys also from rest of the world. So, doing all of the above simultaneously, encouraging more foreign direct investment in India. Can you think of the recent examples? Let me know. Can you think of recent examples? Encouraging more and more FDI. Can I give you a best example? Have you heard of Foxconn? If you're reading the newspaper, it will not be very difficult for you. If you're not reading newspaper, then everything will be new for you. Have you heard of company Foxconn, which has proposed a huge amount of investment in a state of Karnataka? Of course, yes, semiconductors. Have you not come across Government of India promoting semiconductor investment in India? Of course, yes. Right. So encouraging more and more FDI. What is FII? Foreign institutional investment. Some of the students are asking, sir, what is FII? Foreign institutional investment. Please tell me, 2 days ago, did we discuss this? Let me know. 2 days ago, did I give you a basic idea? I have not discussed completely. I know that. We'll discuss it under investment. Under investment models, I'll discuss it. But don't worry. But please do tell me, under the concept of participatory notes, right? Did we not discuss what is FII? Right? Foreign institutions such as, let's say, insurance companies, mutual funds will come in India and invest in the stock market. That is FII. Right? So government is also promoting FII. SEBI is also promoting more and more FII. Right? Long-term way out is always promotion of exports. Any difficulty in whatever we have discussed so far? If government is doing everything, why our BOP is still in deficit? My dear, do you think all the issues that is there in the manufacturing sector have been addressed today? Think of it. Please do let me know. There is one student who's asking, if government is doing all of it, why does India have a BOP deficit even today? Do you think with all these reforms, every issue in manufacturing sector is addressed? If you say yes, then my dear, you do not know what is actually happening. In manufacturing sector, even today, a lot of issues are there. In fact, I'd asked you to read one article in Hindu newspaper yesterday. Did you people read that? One article in Hindu newspaper, that is editorial column. The editorial column, if you have read about it, did you not come across land acquisition issue pointed there? Did you not come across skilling issue pointed there? Did you not come across the problem with, right, basically government changing the policy so quickly, having an impact on investments in India? So I hope you understand. Having policies does not mean that all the problems have been resolved. It doesn't mean that, right? So for example only, have you come across one statement in yesterday's Hindu newspaper, same article, import licensing? There was a term called as license Raj. Let me know. Have you come across the term license Raj? Have you come across red tapeism? Right? What is the basic idea of a license Raj? If government of India right now says, if you want to import a laptop, please take a license. Please take a license, then you can import. Now question is, how easy it is to get a license? Right? Don't you think there could be, again, I'm not saying it has happened, because this is yet to be implemented. From 1st of November, this will come into force. How easy it is to get license? To whom licenses will be given? Will the licenses to some of the industrialists, will they be given very soon? For others, very late? Will there be a corruption in the system? Because all of this has happened in the past. I hope you understand. All of these have happened in the past. Introducing the concept of licensing is not new to India. Remember this. Introducing the concept of licensing is not new to India. In the past, there is an industrial policy of 1956. IP 1956, we will discuss that later. There is an industrial policy in 1956. Under industrial policy in 1956, lot of licensing requirements were introduced. And this basically led to a lot of corruption in the system. Bureaucratic hurdles were created. Red tapeism means, because of government policies only, the whole process will be delayed. Now you, right, imagine you will go to a government official, you will apply for a license. Do you think government official will quickly within a minute give you license? Maybe or may not be. Is there any guarantee? But there is no guarantee. So what is the guarantee that no corruption will take place? What is the guarantee that favoritism will not be done? All these are the concerns, and that was called as a license Raj. That is the reason it was referred as a license Raj. So I hope you understand. Reforms have been undertaken. Post 1991, a lot of reforms have been undertaken, but it doesn't mean, right, basically all the reforms have worked out, all the problems have been addressed. Even today, a lot of problems are there in India. Done? Okay. Any other concern that you people have? Because we'll take a break now. Before I take a break, if there are any issues, any doubts that you people have, please do let me know. Otherwise, we can take a break. Sir, we see, one second. Okay, sir, we see in theory equity measured in partnership, but yesterday in the Indian Express newspaper article about mutual fund, in this article equity means members, equity given in numbers. Why? Please do let me know which article you are talking about. Equity generally is given in terms of a 40%, 50% like this. The negative terminal members refers to, what do you mean by negative terminal numbers? I don't know. I don't know. Okay. For transaction that are agreed upon rupees, can government use consolidated fund? My dear, why do you think government will give you rupees if you're conducting transactions? Please do let me know. Why do you think government will use their rupees from consolidated fund if you are involved in transactions? For that, they will not give you rupees, right? The government will not use their money for that. Okay, done. So can we take a break now? Any other concern? Okay, done. Let's take a break now. So we'll restart the discussion at 8:15. Okay, we'll restart the discussion at 8:15. Take a break. So, equity mutual funds was, my goodness, Anjali, right? The term equity that we have used earlier, that was in the context of ownership. That was in the context of ownership. And you are talking about mutual fund companies collecting money to invest in mutual fund units. That's a different context altogether. The equity mutual funds means what? Money that is collected will be invested in equity instruments, shares in the market. So both are different. You're taking one term of equity and putting it in another context of mutual funds equity. Both are different. Okay, come to the point now. Concept of convertibility. Idea of convertibility. Okay. Now, what do you mean by convertibility here? Very simple. You are allowed to convert from domestic currency into foreign currency with or without any restrictions. I'll repeat the statement here. I'll repeat the statement. You are allowed to convert from rupee to dollar or dollar to rupee with or without any restrictions. If there are no restrictions, if you can freely convert, if you can easily convert your domestic currency into foreign currency into domestic currency, this is called as full convertibility. Any problem? Please do let me know right now. I'll repeat it again. If you can freely convert, freely means without any restriction, if you can convert your domestic currency into foreign currency and foreign currency into domestic currency, we'll call this as full convertibility. And second, if there are any conditions or restrictions, if there are any conditions or restrictions over conversion, I'll give you examples, just give me a minute. If there are any conditions or restrictions on converting your domestic currency into foreign into domestic, this is called as partial convertibility. Partial convertibility. Sir, what do you mean by all of this? Let me start with examples. Imagine you have exported, okay, you have exported something and you have received $100. You have exported something and you've received $100. Please tell me, is there any condition or any restriction on converting these dollars to rupees? Let me know. Anywhere have you come across this statement? There are conditions, there are restrictions over the conversion or over selling these currencies? Absolutely no. You can take these $100, go to a bank, sell the dollars and get the rupees. What about importing? If you import a good, you'll have to pay in terms of, let's say, $50. Any restriction on converting your rupee to dollar? Absolutely no restriction. So now have a look at this. In case of current account, we say current account is fully convertible. I repeat, we say current account is fully convertible, meaning what? Any transaction in the current account without any restrictions, you can freely convert rupee to dollar, dollar to rupee. Whereas come to the capital account, in the context of capital account, we say capital account is partially convertible. Why? I'll explain it. Just wait. In case of capital account, we say it is partially convertible. Right? What do you mean by partial convertibility? There are certain conditions, there are restrictions over converting one currency into another under the capital account. But question is why? Why is there a restriction? Why can I not simply convert any dollar to rupee, any rupee to dollar without any condition? The reason is this. Let's start. Right? Imagine there is no restriction. No restriction. Can I say lot of foreign investors will invest their money in government bonds? Think of this and let me know. If there is no restriction, don't you think lot of foreign money will flow into government bonds? Why? Bonds are safer, but especially government bonds, Government of India bonds, much safer. But what if Fed tapering is done? Think of it now. What if Fed tapering is done now? If Fed tapering is done, can you imagine how many of these foreign investors will simply sell the government bonds, withdraw their money, and go out of India? And as a result of this, please tell me, what do you think will happen to the government bond market? Don't you think government bond market will crash? Crash in the sense, volatility will be very, very high, right? The market itself can collapse. If the supply increases, market prices will start going down. What about other investors? Don't you think other investors will start panicking here? That is the reason. Now, please tell me, should there be any condition on how much foreign investments will be allowed in government bonds? Think of it now. Right? Should there be any condition? Should there be any restriction on how much should be the foreign investments in government bonds? Yes, there should be condition. There should be restriction. Now, if there is a condition or restriction, can you say capital account is completely convertible? Let me know. If there is these kind of conditions or restrictions, can you say capital account is fully convertible? No. Can I use the term capital account is partially convertible? At least now all of you are okay. All of you are okay. Why there is partial convertibility in the capital account? Argument is simple. Argument is very simple. In case of India, we should have convertibility, full convertibility, even the capital account. But the concern is, if there are certain events that will take place either in India or in the international market, there could be sudden outflow of lot of dollars from India. There could be a sudden outflow of lot of dollars, and because there is a sudden outflow, can that create instability in Indian market? Can that lead to volatility in the Indian market? That can create panic in the Indian market. That is the precise reason. In capital account, we have partial convertibility. In the current account, we have full convertibility. Right? For example, look at this. External commercial borrowing. Is there a limit on ECB? Let me know. Is there a limit on ECB? Can you borrow any amount of money under ECB? Of course, no. RBI says a limit is $1.5 billion now. So when there is a limit on borrowing, it simply means if you borrow more than that, you cannot convert into rupees in India. You cannot convert right into the currency in India, which means again restrictions, again conditions. You cannot freely convert dollars into rupees beyond 1.5 billion, which means again partial convertibility. Is the logic okay with all of you? All of this basically means in case of India, capital market is partially convertible. In current account, it is fully convertible. In fact, remember the name of the committee. There was a name of a committee, SS Tarapore Committee. Very, very famous. There is a committee, SS Tarapore Committee. SS Tarapore committee recommended that we should have full capital account convertibility. I'll repeat the statement. There is a need to have full capital account convertibility. In India, we do not have it, but we should have full capital account convertibility. Done? Now, come to the current account. There is a term called as partial convertibility through LERMS, Liberalized Exchange Rate Management System. Right? Current account, there is a term called as LERMS, Liberalized Exchange Rate Management System. Right? Before we introduced full convertibility in the current account, that is from 1993-94, earlier we had a system called as partial convertibility, LERMS, which was introduced post 1991 for only couple of years in India. After that, even that was withdrawn. Then we had basically full convertibility. Now, what is LERMS? Liberalized Exchange Rate Management System is also referred to as Dual Exchange Rate System. Dual Exchange Rate System. Dual Exchange Rate System. Now, why this is called as a dual exchange rate? Why it was introduced? Understand this very carefully. If you remember earlier, I said there was a crisis in India back in 1991. Do you remember that? There was a BOP crisis in India back in 1991. That is, in fact, the amount of forex reserves that were there with India. I'll repeat it. The amount of forex reserves that were there with India were sufficient to pay for only 15 days worth of imports. So we were about to exhaust all of your forex reserves. Now, please tell me, if the forex reserves are about to deplete, if you are the government, would you want to keep a control on the forex reserves? Let me know. If you are the government and if the forex reserves are about to deplete, don't you want to have tight control on how many dollars are there, how many dollars are coming into India, how many dollars are going out of India? And in fact, you would want to have more and more dollars right with you. So what did we introduce? Right, to address this, we introduced the concept of liberalized exchange rate management system. Under this, what used to happen? Imagine you have received $100. Understand this? Imagine you have received $100. Government would simply say 40% of the dollars you will have to give it to Reserve Bank of India. Deposit that with Reserve Bank of India at at official exchange rate. At official exchange rate. Official means which is determined by the government. I repeat, understand this. Imagine you have received $100. You need to convert $100 into rupees now. 40%, this number was fixed. 40% you will have to give it to RBI at official exchange rate, and remaining 60% you will get it converted at market exchange rate. Market exchange rate. What is market exchange rate? Whatever is rupee versus dollar currently in the market. So now please tell me, by asking you to deposit 40% of the dollars with RBI, are we controlling forex reserves? Think of it. Are we adding to more and more forex reserves so that there is some forex reserves with us? Second, if you are using two exchange rates to convert your dollars, can I call it as a dual exchange rate system? Can I call it as a dual exchange rate system? Dual exchange rate system. Dual means two. Right? Don't be confused. Sir, what do you mean by dual? Dual means two. That is, if you want to convert your dollar into rupees, there are two exchange rates are used. Hence, this is called as a dual exchange rate system. So all of you are okay with what is LERMS, why it was introduced, why it was called as a dual exchange rate system. Can I go forward now? Will I get the deposit back from RBI? My dear, where is the deposit here? Where is the deposit? Please tell me, what is the deposit here? What deposit are you talking about? I absolutely have no idea. Okay. Official exchange rate was decided by RBI? Yes, that Government of India through RBI announced what was the official exchange rate. And remaining 60% was basically market exchange rate. Okay, so this is basically called as a partial convertibility implemented through LERMS, and post 93 we have introduced a full convertibility under the current account. Now there are two students who are asking, right? There are two students who are asking what is the use of full convertibility under the capital account. My dear, please tell me, is it better to have full convertibility or partial convertibility if you want to attract FDI, if you want to attract investments in the stock market, if you want to attract foreign investors in India? And more importantly, let me introduce one more term to you. If you want to have internationalization of rupee, this is very famous now. Internationalization of rupee. Which one do you think is better, partial or full? My dear, full convertibility is better. Full convertibility. Please understand this. Full convertibility is better. Let me prove it. Let me prove it to you. Have you heard of the concept of internationalization of rupee? Let me know. Have you heard of it? Heard of it in the sense, have you come across in the newspaper? Even today in Hindu newspaper, there's an article on rupee usage. Yesterday also it was there. Today also it is there. Every day it is there. Those who are saying, sir, I have not heard of internationalization, my dear, read them. Read. You are not reading. I can simply understand you are not reading it. Why? In the last 1 year, there is so much of discussion. There is so much of discussion regarding internationalization of rupee. Now, what do you mean by internationalization? What do you mean by the term internationalization? Simple. Rupee will be used even outside India for conducting transactions. Very simple idea. Do not complicate it. Rupee will be used even outside India for conducting transactions. What do you mean by this? Please tell me, is a dollar used outside USA for conducting transactions? Think of it. Think of it. Is a dollar used outside USA? Dollar is USA currency. But are we using dollar outside USA also to conduct transactions? Of course, yes. For buying goods, for selling goods, for remittances, etc. etc. Dollar is the most favorite international currency. In the same way, what if rupee will be used for conducting transactions not only in India but outside India? It will become an international currency. That is basically internationalization of rupee. But now comes the problem. Now comes the problem. If there is a very limited, I hope you understand this point. If there is very limited conversion of rupee to dollar, dollar to rupee, if there is conditions on this conversion, do you think demand for rupees will be higher in international market? Let me know. If there are conditions on conversion of rupee to dollar, dollar to rupee, will the demand for rupee in the international market, will it be higher? No, my dear, it will not be higher. It will be very low. Because now some of you will ask, sir, why do we need to convert rupee to dollar? Let me ask a very simple question. Imagine you're a foreign, right, a seller to me, you're an exporter to me. I will pay in rupees to you. I will pay in rupees to you. Now you want to invest somewhere in terms of dollars, but there is a condition. Or you want to invest, right, the dollars in India, which you have converted from rupee to dollar, you want to invest in India, but there are conditions on investment. So argument is simple. If there is, right, if there is a need to promote rupee as an international currency, you will have to work on your capital account convertibility. You cannot have controls in the capital account and say we will promote internationalization of rupee. Then the demand for rupee in the international market will not increase. It will still continue to remain lower. Because in that case, people will accept rupees. But don't you think the usage will be limited only for current account? I hope you understand. The usage of rupees will be limited only to the current account. They cannot invest more and more under the capital account because you have restrictions, you have conditions there. All of you are okay with this? All of you okay? So it's a dilemma. It's basically a dilemma. If you go for full convertibility, it can create volatility. That's a concern. If you don't go for convertibility, full convertibility, then acceptability of rupee in international market will be limited. You cannot go for internationalization of rupee then. That is the argument. That is basically the argument. Okay, can we go forward? Can we go forward now? Right, so that is the reason government of India is promoting rupee convertibility. I'm sorry, rupee internationalization, but we need to move towards even full capital account convertibility. We need to move. There is no doubt. We need to move towards that. Okay, that is a concept of convertibility. Let me go to the next one, foreign trade policy. Again, I'll come back to this FTP. Just give me some time because I'm discussing so much about convertibility, trade, etc. Let me talk about World Trade Organization. I'll discuss FTP. Don't worry. Don't worry about FTP. I'll discuss it separately. Please don't worry. Now come to this. World Trade Organization. What do you mean by World Trade Organization? Understand the story here. After the Second World War or during the Second World War, there was a meeting. There was basically a meeting, right, held by multiple countries around the world. This is very famously referred to as Bretton Woods Conference. This is very famously referred to as a Bretton Woods Conference. Bretton Woods Conference. So why this is called as a Bretton Woods Conference? Bretton Woods is a name of a city. Simple. It is name of a city. And because it was conducted in that city, it is called as a Bretton Woods Conference. And in the Bretton Woods Conference, there was a discussion, right, by member countries, by many countries, including India, by the way, to have three very important global organizations. To have three very important global organizations. One was to promote, right, development of infrastructure. One was to promote growth and development of reconstruction of infrastructure. And for that, they proposed World Bank. They proposed World Bank. Please tell me, is the World Bank operating today now? Let me know. Is the World Bank working today? Yes. Second, in order to ensure the stability in the exchange rate, in order to provide, right, the country's assistance which will face BOP crisis, they proposed one more authority, International Monetary Fund, IMF, International Monetary Fund. And in order to promote trade, global trade, in order to promote and stabilize global trade, promote international trade, they proposed one more authority, International Trade Organization. International Trade Organization. Trade Organization. ITO. ITO was not established. Right? I hope you understand. Three authorities were proposed. First and second were proposed, set up. Third one was not set up. The reason behind that is the members who are discussing, negotiating what should be the model, how should we set it up, what should be the principles, etc., they were not able to come to consensus. They were not able to agree to certain factors. And that is the precise reason ITO was not established, right? World Bank was established and IMF was established. Now, can I call these two institutions as Bretton Woods twins? Let me know. Because only two institutions were set up, can I call these as a Bretton Woods twins? Anybody has a difficulty why these are called as a twins? Please do not be worried. It's a basic idea. It's a basic idea. These are called as Bretton Woods twin organizations. Now, ITO is not established, but can we simply leave out international trade because we don't have ITO? So, as a temporary arrangement, then it was decided that we should have one agreement. As a temporary arrangement, they decided we should have one agreement. And the agreement that was signed is basically GATT, General Agreement on Trade and Tariff. GATT stands for General Agreement. General Agreement on Trade and Tariff. On Trade and Tariff. This is very famously referred to as GATT. So GATT was signed GATT was entered into, but please understand it was just one temporary measure. Instead of having a full organization, we simply signed an agreement. Right? So GATT was signed, GATT was implemented, but over a period of time, again there were discussions held because it is just a temporary arrangement. So what is a permanent solution then? What is a permanent organization? So the discussions were held later, and from 1995, we established an international organization by the name of WTO, World Trade Organization. From 1995, we set up a global organization, WTO, World Trade Organization. And what happened to GATT? GATT was basically an agreement that was subsumed, that was basically introduced within a part of WTO itself. It is a part of WTO now, right? This is one agreement, but WTO is an organization, World Trade Organization. Now, what are other reasons? I'll come back to this. What are the other reasons? Why did we shift from the GATT to WTO? Point number one, GATT did not have any kind of institutional structure. I repeat, GATT was not an organization, GATT was an agreement. Multiple countries were there, but it is simply an agreement, whereas WTO is an organization. And under WTO, please understand, multiple agreements have been signed. We'll discuss most important one of them. Don't worry. We'll discuss most important ones. Right? For example, we have agreement on agriculture. We have agreements on subsidies and countervailing measures. We have a TRIPS agreement, TRIMS agreement, GATS agreement. So a lot of agreements are part of WTO. So WTO is an institution. GATT was simply an agreement. Second, GATT was focused only on goods. GATT was focused only on goods, whereas a WTO is focused on goods, it is focused on services, it is focused on services, it is focused on intellectual property rights, it is focused on promotion of investments, etc. So the scope of coverage under WTO is much wider, much bigger compared to GATT. Third one, the number of countries which were there under WTO were limited. By 1994, there were around 120 countries under GATT, whereas under WTO, there are more than 160 countries today. So number of countries which are part of WTO are much, much wider, much larger compared to the number of countries which are part of GATT. And finally, the dispute settlement. We'll discuss dispute settlement separately today. Have patience. The dispute settlement under WTO is much better, much smooth compared to GATT. In case of GATT, there were a lot of issues regarding dispute settlement. How WTO will settle dispute, we'll understand in some time. Have patience. Now, next. Right, the headquarters of WTO is present in Geneva, Switzerland. Please remember this. WTO started operating from 1995. What are the functions of WTO? First one, in WTO, the members will come together, hold negotiations with each other. Any problem? I'll repeat it. Right, in WTO, member countries will come together, conduct negotiations with each other. Right, hold negotiations, hold talks with each other. Point number two, WTO also signed multiple agreements, and it is responsibility or the duty of WTO to implement these agreements. What agreements? We'll discuss sometime. Have patience. Right? It will settle trade disputes. If there are any disputes between the countries, it will settle the trade dispute. And finally, the WTO will also review the policies of member countries. For example, a couple of years ago, they reviewed trade policies of India. They have reviewed trade policies of USA. They have reviewed trade policies of UK. Why? Whether these trade policies are promoting international trade or they're basically prohibiting international trade. Right? So I hope you understand these are the functions of World Trade Organization. Now please understand the next point as well. The most important function apart from this for WTO will be to promote trade in the international market. Done. Promote trade. Global trade promotion is the duty of WTO. But whenever you talk about trade in the international market, there will be certain issues which can hinder the trade, which can reduce the trade in the global market. And these are called as trade barriers. We'll connect it to current affairs. So listen very carefully. These are referred to as trade barriers. Sir, what do you mean by a barrier here? Any restriction that is imposed, any restriction that is imposed which will reduce the trade, it is called as a trade barrier. For example, please tell me now. I'll connect it to current affairs now. Please tell me, in recent times, Government of India has imposed a restriction regarding importing laptops, importing PCs. Will it affect trade between India and other countries? Very simple question. Will it affect trade between India and other countries? Of course, yes, it will affect. Let me give you another example. Government of India has banned export of wheat. It has banned export of rice. Will it affect trade between India and the rest of the world? Again, answer is yes. So can I call these as trade barriers? Let me know now. Can I call these as the trade barriers? Yes, these are trade barriers. So what we do is, generally we'll divide the trade barriers into two divisions. One is called as a tariff barrier. Second one is a non-tariff barrier. One is called as a tariff barrier. Second one is non-tariff barrier. What is a tariff barrier? Whenever taxes are imposed, I repeat, whenever taxes are imposed to reduce the trade, to disrupt the trade, these are called as a tariff barrier. So what do you mean by this? Let me give you a very simple example. Imagine you're importing this bottle from USA. Right now the tax rate is 10%. On the import, let's say tax rate is 10%. Now Government of India will increase this tax rate from 10% to 40%. Please tell me, will the cost of the import increase or decrease with higher taxes? I repeat, the cost of this import, will it increase or decrease with higher taxes? All of you will agree, it will increase with higher taxes. And if, Arey Baba, some of you are saying decreases. How? How? Right? How? Please think. Right? This is not at all difficult. If the tax rate increases, imports will become costlier. And if imports will become costlier, what will happen to imports now? Don't you think imports will start reducing? Correct? Don't you think imports will start reducing? Does it make sense to you or not? So has it affected trade between India and other country? Of course, yes. Right? Of course, yes. So can I call this as a tariff barrier? Can I call this as a tariff barrier? Yes. Keep reading newspapers. Please keep reading newspapers. Very often you will come across tariff barriers imposed by member countries of WTO. So one is tariff barrier. Second one is non-tariff barrier. Right? Any policy which is not a tax but will reduce the trade, will disrupt the trade, it is called as a non-tariff barrier. Very simple. Any policy of the government which is not associated with the taxes, but any other policy which will restrict the trade, it is called as a non-tariff barrier. For example, look at the first one, quota. Look at the first one, quota. Quota means what? Government will restrict the quantity. Very important. Government will restrict the quantity. For example, imagine you're exporting this bottle. I hope you understand. Imagine you're exporting this bottle. Government will simply say, you can export, but not more than 100 bottles. I hope you understand. You're exporting this bottle. Government says you can export, but not more than 100 bottles. Please tell me, is it a restriction over quantity or not? And if there is a restriction over quantity, will your exports increase? No, your exports will get limited to 100 bottles only. On the other side, can we have same restriction on import also? Of course, yes. Imagine you're importing this bottle. Government of India says not more than 100 bottles I will allow you to import. Not more than 100 bottles I will allow you to import. So now, will the imports be affected by these restrictions? Again, answer is yes. So quotas are nothing but quantity restrictions. This can be imposed on imports as well as exports to disrupt the trade. Exchange rate restriction. Exchange rate restriction. I'll give a very simple example in the current affairs. Couple of months ago, lot of ships had gone to a port in Pakistan. Right? Follow the sequence here. Lot of the ships were standing at the port in Pakistan. They were not able to, right, basically sell these. That is, take the goods which were there in the ships and put them in the port and go forward. They were not able to do that. Why? Understand the logic here. Understand the logic. The government of Pakistan realized that they do not have sufficient forex reserves. They do not have sufficient forex reserves. So they said, if you want to import this product, I will not allow you to convert the currency to dollar. Simple. Right? This there in the current affairs. That's the reason I'm taking this example. And there was a huge uproar in Pakistan because of this only. Check it. There was a huge protest in Pakistan because of this only. Why? Government of Pakistan had imposed restriction over converting their currency into dollar for certain essential commodities. But there was no such restriction imposed if you are importing luxury products. So don't you think people will be right affected by this? People will oppose such policy. So I hope you understand what you mean by exchange rate restrictions. You are importing something, you want to convert rupee to dollar. So government will say, I will not allow you to convert it. On the other side, you are exporting something, you will get in dollar. Government will simply say, I will not allow the conversion of dollar to rupee then. So can I say these kind of restriction on exchange rate will affect the trade here? Very simple. Third one, administrative and technical regulations. For example, government will simply say, you want to import this product, the product has to meet certain quality. The product has to meet certain standards. And you'll have to go to one authority, get a certificate, show me the certificate that product will meet the standard, only then I will allow you to import it. Done? So if these kind of restrictions are imposed, don't you think that will affect imports as well as exports? That will affect the trade? Yes. And finally, government procurement policy. Government procurement policy. Right? What is the idea of government procurement policy? I'll give a very simple example. What if government of India says, if you manufacture this mobile phone in India, half of the value addition has to be done in India only. Procurement policy. Right? Half of the mobile phone value addition should be done in India only. Procurement policy means certain value you'll have to procure from domestic market only. If these kind of restrictions are imposed, don't you think imports and exports between countries would be affected? Any problem in understanding it? In addition to all of them, can I also write a licensing requirement now? Let me know. In addition to all of these, can I write a licensing requirement also? Licensing requirement. Sir, any example of licensing requirement? Laptops, PCs, etc. Government of India says, you want to import it, take a license from me first. Which means automatically disruption. Right? Automatically exports and imports would be disrupted. Now, based on all of this, please tell me, which of the policies more effective? Tariff barriers or non-tariff barriers? Which of them are more effective in disrupting the trade, in restricting the trade? I'll repeat the statement. between tariff barriers as well as the non-tariff barriers, which of these things do you think is more restrictive in nature? Don't you think it is the non-tariff barriers which are more restrictive in nature? Anybody has a problem? Anybody has a problem, right? Non-tariff barriers, it is more restrictive in nature. This will have a more impact in terms of disrupting the trade. Okay, so the whole idea of WTO is to reduce these trade barriers. Reduce these trade barriers as far as possible, eliminate, so that the trade between the countries will be promoted. Right, so please be very careful. UPSC can ask you a question on these kinds of barriers only. Now, what is the structure of WTO? What is the structure? World Trade Organization, what kind of structure does it have? The highest decision making authority under WTO is a ministerial conference. Please remember this. The highest decision making authority is a ministerial conference. Ministerial conference, I'll start using the short form here. The MC will generally meet once in 2 years. Once in 2 years. Traditionally, generally they will meet once in 2 years. There is no rule, but they generally meet once in 2 years. The first time they met was in 1996, and after that, right, they have been meeting once every 2 years. But again, there is no hard and fast rule. There is no condition that they should meet every time or once every 2 years. There is no condition, right? For example, during pandemic, for many years, ministerial conference was not conducted. I hope you understand. For the last couple of years, because of the pandemic, ministerial conference was not conducted. So there is no hard and fast rule that they should meet once every 2 years. Many of the times they have been meeting after 1 year, etc. But the highest decision making body within a WTO is a ministerial conference. Now look at the name of the committee, ministerial conference, and please tell me who will participate in the ministerial conference. Look at the name and please tell me, who do you think will participate in the ministerial conference? Can I simply say ministers? Ministers from the member countries, ministers will come together, hold meeting. And which minister? Some of you saying finance minister. My dear, talking about trade. Think carefully. You are talking about trade. Do you think it makes sense for the finance minister to participate in a trade meeting? No, it will be trade ministers, commerce ministers. It will be commerce minister. Some of you saying external affairs minister. No. Some of you saying finance minister. No. Some of you saying foreign minister. No. It has to be trade ministers or commerce ministers. Right? So minister for commerce from all these member countries will come together, hold meetings and take certain decisions. Hence, this is called as a highest decision making authority. But please tell me, do you think for day-to-day operations of WTO, for day-to-day discussions in WTO, decision making in WTO on day-to-day basis, do you think ministerial conference is the right or appropriate body? Think of it. Do you think it is an appropriate body for taking care of day-to-day operations of WTO? No. For that reason only, we have one more authority called as General Council. We have one more authority called as General Council. It is the General Council. Again, sir, who is present in the General Council? All the member countries will have one member representing. Simple idea. All the member countries will appoint one person each to represent their country in the General Council. So, General Council will take care of day-to-day activities of World Trade Organization. And the General Council will act as a trade policy review body. Right? That is, what is the trade policy of India? Is it conducive? Have they started increasing tariff barriers? Have they started increasing non-tariff barriers? What are they doing? That study will be done by General Council when they act as trade policy review body. And once in a month or whenever the members will send a request for it, the General Council will also act as a dispute settlement body. That is, if there is any dispute between the member countries, that dispute will be resolved by the dispute settlement body. Any difficulty? Any difficulty in the structure of a WTO? Please do let me know. Any difficulty? Now let me enter into the most important principles of WTO. What are the fundamental principles on which WTO operates? Point number one, most favored nation. Understand this? Most favored nation, MFN. What do you mean by most favored nation? You will have to apply tariffs and regulations on imports and exports without any discrimination between trading partners. Very, very tricky term. Very tricky term. It's a misnomer. Very tricky term. Most favored nation. If I ask you what do you mean by most favored nation, basically you will say, sir, we will have favoritism between countries. But it is not favoritism. It simply says you cannot be biased. You cannot have favoritism between your trading partners. Meaning what? Imagine India will import a product from USA, a product from UK, a product from China. Most favored nation means when this product will enter into India, India shall apply same rates for all these products coming from these three countries. Any problem? I'll repeat it again. Right? It is a non-biased approach. No favoritism. You'll have to treat all the trading partners one and the same. Meaning, if this bottle will come from USA, China, UK, and Japan, government of India has to apply same rate on this bottle. What rate? Taxation. Any problem with the idea of a most favored nation? Let me know. Any problem with the idea of most favored nation? It is a policy of non-discrimination. Not a discrimination. Non-discrimination. That is most favored nation. Now let me add one more point here. What if India has a trade agreement? What if India has a trade agreement with the country? If India has a trade agreement, don't you think there'll be favoritism there? Let me know. If you do not participate, I'll assume your understanding and I'll go forward. What if India has a trade agreement? For example, India has signed trade agreement with UAE very recently. India has signed a trade agreement with Australia. So don't you think when there's a trade agreement is nothing but favoritism? Right? I will conduct a trade with you. You export something, I will impose 0% duty. I will export something, you apply 0% duty. So don't you think if India has a trade agreement with any country, it is basically not going to follow most favored nation principle? Correct? That is the reason these kinds of trade agreements are generally exceptions. These are exceptions, right? Certain exceptions are there to most favored nation. It is not just applicable to all the trading partners. It will be exempted in case of trading agreements. Any problem here? Point number two. Understand all of them, will connect it to current affairs. Point number two. What if there is no trade agreement, but this country will implement certain policy to promote developing countries? Let me prove it to you. Then I'll ask you a question. Let me see how many of you are reading newspapers. USA and many other developed countries. I repeat, USA and many other developed countries follow a policy called as Generalized System of Preferences. Generalized System of Preferences. GSP, Generalized System of Preferences. Now, what is this Generalized System of Preferences? Let me explain it. Here is a developed country, and imagine a product is entering into a developed country from another developed country and developing country. Okay, let's assume this bottle is going to USA from Germany as well as from India. Now, simple question to all of you. Is it fair? I repeat, is it fair if government of USA will impose the same taxes on these bottles coming from Germany as well as India? Think of fair. I'm not saying equal. I'm saying, is it fair? Don't you think it is unfair? Why? Don't you think a developed country such as Germany already has an advantage over India? Yes or no? Don't you think a developed country such as Germany already has advantage over India? So if government of USA will impose the same rate of taxation, it is unfair to India. So that is the reason there is a system called as a generalized system of preferences, which is followed by many developed countries. Many developed countries such as USA. Under this, what they will do is, imagine this bottle will come from Germany. Under MFN, most favored nation, imagine they will apply 10% duty. Okay, under MFN, imagine they will apply 10% duty. But because India is a developing country, a developed country wants to provide certain benefit to India, what they can do is, under GSP, they might reduce the MFN rate to 2%. They might reduce it to 0%. Now, please tell me, will it provide certain, right, let's say, advantage to Indian exports now? Let me know. Will it provide certain advantage to India's exports? Will India's exports to USA start increasing? Will we get the benefit of this system? Answer is yes. So now tell me, if USA will provide this kind of a benefit to India, is it not violating MFN? Is it not violating MFN? Yes, but please remember, GSP is again taken as an exception. It is taken as an exemption to the most favored nation principle. So why are you discussing all of this? Some of you will have this doubt. We have never come across these terms in the book, right? Why are you discussing it? Please tell me. Couple of months ago, the Prime Minister of India visited USA, correct? Let me know. Right, last month only, Prime Minister of India visited USA. If you have read the newspapers correctly, was there one of the demand from India? Was it to provide GSP status to India's exports? Read now, at least now, right? Go to Google after class is over. If you have not read it, read it. Because earlier, USA had provided general system of preferences recognition to some of the exports from India. They had provided this. But when Mr. Donald Trump was the president of USA, there were certain, right, disputes between India and USA. And the president of USA said, in that case, I will withdraw the GSP status to India's exports. And that status was withdrawn. Now, government of India very recently has raised this request and has asked USA to provide, right, the GSP status back to India now. All of you are okay? What is GSP? Right? Why it is provided? If USA will in fact provide GSP status to India, what is the expected outcome, etc., etc. Right? So these are certain important points. Now, let me go to the next one. Arre Baba. Sir, what is the full form of GSP? Great. What is the full form of GSP? Great. Okay. Now, let me add one more exemption to the idea of MFN. One more idea. Imagine India has provided MFN status to A, B, and C, and it does not have MFN status to country D. I hope you understand. Imagine India has provided MFN status to A, B, and C, and it has not provided MFN status to country D. Let's start. If this bottle will be imported, I repeat, if this bottle will be imported from country D, can India impose a higher taxes on this bottle? I'll repeat the point here. India has given MFN status to A, B, and C, and they have not given any MFN status to country D. And if MFN rate is 10%, and this bottle will come from D to India, can government of India impose more than 10% taxes on this bottle imported from India? Answer is yes. Some of you are saying no. Why no? You please tell me. Answer is yes. Because MFN is given only for 3 countries. So I cannot discriminate between 3 countries. Understand the logic. I cannot discriminate between these countries. Is a country D given MFN status? No. So if MFN status is not given to country D, can I discriminate against country D? Of course, yes. Any problem here? Any problem, sir? Any example of this? India and Pakistan. Best example for this is India and Pakistan. Right? So can we go forward now? But we can lower the tax rate to country D. My dear, why will you lower? You will target country D. If MFN status is not given, you will not give it because you want to target that country. One of the students says, sir, can we reduce it to less than 10%? My dear, if you reduce it to less than 10%, why did you not give it MFN status in the first place? You will withdraw the MFN status because you want to target that country. Now this country cannot drag you to WTO and say you are targeting me. Whereas right under MFN, it simply says if you have MFN status, you cannot be discriminated. Right? So has India given MFN status to country D? No. So we can target it. So I hope you understand this. Okay. So this is basically the concept of most favored nation. Second one, national treatment. Second one is national treatment. What is this national treatment? Whenever the goods or services are imported, there shall not be any discrimination in the domestic market. I will repeat the statement. Understand this. What do you mean by national treatment? Whenever goods and services are imported, that is, let's say, I'll give a very simple example. Imagine this bottle is manufactured in India, domestically manufactured good. And this bottle is also imported from USA. So now 2 bottles, one manufactured in India, one imported is available. It is present in the market. Government shall not discriminate between these 2 bottles. Any problem in understanding this? I'll repeat it again. A bottle that is a good or a service imported and a good or a service produced in India, similar good, there shall not be any discrimination that is done by the government. In simple terms, government cannot have a policy to discriminate a foreign product in India. That is basically the concept of national treatment. But please tell me, again, please think of it. Don't you think there will be certain exceptions to even national treatment? Let me know. Don't you think there can be certain exceptions even to national treatment? Of course, yes. So please understand this. Whenever you talk about WTO principles, WTO laws, etc., there are always certain exceptions to this. Because if you give away all these powers, right, don't you think at one point of time it will basically become that government of India cannot do anything for imports? Government cannot do anything in the context of exports. Government cannot do anything for Chinese investors in India. Of course, yes. So there is always one or the other exemptions to all of them. Third one is a free trade. Lower the trade barriers so that the exports shall increase, imports shall increase, and international trade can be promoted. Can we go forward now? Can we go forward? These are the simple principles of WTO. One is MFN, second one is national treatment, third one is free trade. Right? Third one is free trade. Okay, so these are certain important principles. Now, let me focus on WTO agreements. Let me focus on WTO agreements. And some of you, I'm looking at the comments, some of you are trying to do PhD here. My dear, stop. All of this level is not needed for UPSC. You are trying to read everything about WTO, not at all needed. There are 2 students who are asking, sir, which countries have given MFN status to India? My dear, please tell me, do you think UPSC will ask you to remember list of more than 100 countries? Think rationally, no? Please always think rationally. So tell me the list of countries, right, with which we have, right, a GSP. There are more than 30 countries. What do you want the list? Do you understand the concept? Do you understand how it is connected to current affairs? That is more than required. More than what is required for UPSC. Okay. Let me go to the next one. WTO, three important agreements. And later we'll discuss more important agreements as well. One is called as a GATS. Second one is called as a TRIPS. Third one is called as a TRIPS. Now, before you start asking, the long form of all the three is there on the right side. Please have a look at it. Long form for all the three, right? What is a TRIPS? What is a TRIMS? What is GATS? A long form is there. Please have a look at it. Now, let me enter into the first one, GATS. Listen to this carefully. GATS stands for General Agreement on Trade in Services. GATS distinguishes means classifies the trade in services, that is the services which are traded in the international market, are divided into four classes. What are these four classes? Understand this carefully. Have a look at the picture. Question number one. Can everybody see the picture? Let me know. Can everybody see the picture? Is it visible to everyone? Okay. Question number two. I'll write numbers here. I'll write numbers. There are four numbers visible to all of you, which means there are four different types of services when they are traded in the international market. And that is the reason, please listen to this very carefully. I'll explain all the four individually. Listen, don't keep on asking how 2 is different from 3. How 3 is different compared to 1. How 1 is different compared to 4. If you are listening carefully, that should be pretty much evident. Let's start. Country A and country B. Right? And this black dotted line is nothing but border. Let's start with the first one. In case of the first one, neither the service supplier nor the consumer will cross the border. Nobody will cross the border. Services will be transferred across the border. Can I give you best example? Have you heard of customer care services provided to US citizens from India? BPO, call center. Have you heard of this or not? Right, call center services provided to USA citizen from, right, sitting in India. So now in this example, please tell me, is India's customer service personnel, are they crossing the border? No. Is the citizen of USA coming to India? No. But can I simply say services are crossing the border? Services are crossing the border. So first one is cross-border services. Second, consumption abroad. Consumption abroad. A foreign tourist, let's say from USA, will come to India. Simple question to you. When they come to India, will they consume hotel services in India? Let me know. Will they consume hotel services? Will they consume transportation services? Which means, think of this, which means here the consumer is crossing the border. Second one, here consumer is crossing the border. Service provider is not crossing. Ola company is present in India, provides services in India. Hotel services, hotels are present in India. They are providing the services. Restaurants are present in India. They are providing the services. So supplier does not cross, consumer will cross the border. This is called as consumption abroad. Third one, commercial presence. Third one is commercial presence. Very simple. Vodafone, is it a foreign company or Indian company? Vodafone, right? Vodafone, initially it's a foreign company. It was set up outside India. So what they did? They came to India, set up a company in India. And started providing telecom services to all of us. So now in the third example, can I say service provider is crossing the border, consumer or the customer remains in the same country. All of you okay? In the third one, the company which will provide services to you is crossing the border. It is right coming to the country where customers are there and providing the services. This is called as a commercial presence. And fourth one is presence of natural persons. Best example, let's say hypothetically, let's say I'm a yoga teacher. I'm not, by the way. Let's say I'm a yoga teacher. So what I'll do, I am present in India. I will move from India to Australia or to USA. I'll move from India to Australia or to USA. And there I have two options. I will continue to provide yoga services as an individual teacher. I will not join any company. I will be individual only. I will keep on providing services as an individual teacher only. Or second example, I will move from India to USA, join a company in USA and start providing services of yoga to consumers there. This is called as presence of natural persons. These are the four types. Please remember, these are the four types under the WTO GATS agreement. These are the four types in which international services are traded. In the global market, how services will be traded, these are the four classifications. In the first one, nobody will cross the border. Nobody will cross the border. Services will be crossing the border. Second one, consumer will cross the border, consume the services. Third one, the company will cross the border, provide services. And the fourth one, individual supplier will cross the border, continue to supply services individually or join a company after crossing the border, provide the services from the company. Right? So these are basically the classification of services under the concept of GATS, General Agreement on Trade in Services. Now, simple question to you. Don't you think WTO members should apply most favored nation principle for trading in services? Think of it. Very simple question to all of you. You have studied MFN now. Don't you think WTO members should apply MFN principle for trading in services? WTO members should apply national treatment in trading in services. That is what GATS says. That is exactly what the GATS says. The member countries of GATS, right, member countries of WTO who have signed GATS, right, by the way, India is a signatory. More than 160 countries are signatories. They will have to oblige by MFN principle. They will have to apply national treatment. And if they implement any policies, what is transparency? If they implement any policies regarding services, they will have to disclose information to WTO. They will have to give the details of the policy to WTO. That is first one, GATS. Sir, what is this table? What is this table? What we have discussed in the picture. I repeat, what we have discussed in the picture, it is given in the table. For example, look at the first one. Look at the first one, cross-border supply. What happens in a cross-border supply? It will cover services that will flow from one territory, that is one country, to another country. Example, banking services which are provided through mail or internet, customer care services, BPO services, many financial services, advertisement services. What is important here? Neither the provider nor the consumer. Neither the provider nor the consumer will cross the border. Both of them will remain in the same countries. So in the same way, I've given the explanation for all the four types. Please go through this. So first one is GATS. Let me go to the second one, TRIPS. TRIPS stands for trade-related aspects of intellectual property rights. Now, what do you mean by intellectual property right? Anything that is creation of a mind. I'll repeat the statement. Anything that is creation of the mind is called as an intellectual property. For example, patent, copyright, trademark, right? Geographical indication, etc., etc. There are different types of intellectual property rights. Now, simple question to all of you. Imagine you're a company in India who has invested lot of money and has created, let's say, a technology, has created a medicine. Don't you think you should have the right to use the technology for certain number of years? Yes or no? You should have the right to use the technology. That technology should be used only by you, not by anyone else in the market, neither in India nor in USA. That is basically protection of intellectual property rights. Protection of intellectual property rights. That's the reason, right? Have you heard of a fight between Samsung company and Apple company over IP rights? Fight between this company and that company over intellectual property rights. Why? Under WTO, member countries have signed TRIPS, and under TRIPS, every member country should have a law in order to provide protection for intellectual property rights. Because if the countries do not have the law, for example, imagine Apple will invest a lot of money, create certain technology, a Chinese company can simply copy that technology, produce the goods, sell it at much cheaper prices compared to Apple. Possible? Think of it. Possible or not? Can this happen? Of course, yes. In such cases, don't you think that will lead to losses for Apple company, more profits for Chinese companies? So that is the precise reason every member country will have to, right, implement certain policies where they will have to provide most favored nation principle. They will have to provide national treatment principle. They will have to provide transparency. They will have to have laws, etc. Right? That is basically the TRIPS principle. Third one is a TRIMS. Right? The third one is TRIMS, trade related investment measures. Now, what is the idea for TRIMS here? Imagine you're producing a good, selling it to America. Would you like if government of USA will have a policy against your product? Think of it. Right? I'll repeat it again. You're producing a good in India, you're exporting to USA. Will you like it? Like it in the sense, will your exports increase if government of USA will have a policy targeting your product? They'll simply say, right, product coming from India, I will, right, impose more taxes on it. No, your exports would be affected. What if you're investing in USA, government of USA has very strict policy against your investment? So I hope you understand. So investments can be affected, goods exported can be affected. That is the reason under TRIMS, have a look at this, under TRIMS, trade related investment measures, it says individually all the member countries should have their own policies, but these policies should not be discriminatory. Is it okay? I'll repeat it again. What is TRIMS? Under TRIMS, every member country should have their own trade policy. But, right, have a look at this. The TRIMS policies, the industrial policies should not be discriminatory in nature. Should not be discriminatory. These should treat everyone in the same way. That is basically the concept of TRIMS. It will regulate investments. It will regulate a sale in goods, etc. Can we go forward now? How TRIMS are different from national treatment? My dear, I'm talking about industrial policies here. TRIMS talks about industrial policies, right? It is not talking about national treatment. For example, national treatment can be applicable for services also. Correct or not? National treatment can be applicable even in case of trading of services. But TRIMS doesn't talk about services. For talking about services, there is GATS. TRIMS only focuses on investment flowing from one country to another country, goods flowing from one country to another country. So TRIMS focus is different, GATS focus is different. Done? Any problem with what we have discussed so far? So please go through all of these. All of these are very, very important. All of these are very, very important. Now, next concept is dispute settlement. That will take some time. We'll take up dispute settlement in the next class. right? And I also know we have not yet discussed foreign trade policy. We'll cover foreign trade policy also in the next class. So dispute settlement, certain agreements, other agreements under WTO. Then we'll discuss subsidies. We'll also discuss foreign trade policy in the next class. So let me take a pause today. If there are any questions, please do let me know. We can address it or we can close the session for the day. So despite having MFN status with China, how government of India selectively targeting Chinese imports? My dear, please tell me if you have read about these articles, has anywhere government of India said this policy is to target only China? Let me know. Anywhere has government of India, right? Don't say, sir, I read in Hindu newspaper that it will affect Chinese exports. Yes, that will affect Chinese exports. But tell me anywhere government of India has stated that we want to target Chinese imports. If they say that, China will run to WTO. China will go to WTO, file a complaint against India. You cannot target only China. What government of India has done? Government of India simply says, any import of laptop, now take license from me. Simple. Any import of personal computer, take a license from me. And right, it's a fact that most of the laptops, PCs, etc. will come from China. But government of India is not saying if it is imported from China, take a license. If government says if it is imported from China, then take a license, then it is a discriminatory policy. And China definitely will take India to WTO. Right? But here, government is not saying China. Government simply says importing laptop, importing PCs, then take a permission. Why India and Russia using Chinese currency as a medium of trade and not dollars? Right? Because I can understand this. Chinese yuan, right? Chinese yuan has started gaining a lot of importance in the international market, just like USA dollar has. And in case of Russia, they cannot use dollars because, right, there's a sanction on Russia. They cannot use dollars. Whereas, right, they can use yuan. That is the reason they're making a payment of yuan now. Does reverse engineering practiced by China is against TRIPS, right? And that's the reason if there is a reverse engineering, you are using the technology. I repeat, if you're using the patent of a foreign company, definitely yes, it will become an IP dispute. Okay. Okay, any other question? There is a doubt regarding primary deficit. If PD is equal to interest payment, then government all borrowing going only for interest payment, then it should be representing bad fiscal health of government. But you told otherwise. Please understand, if government of India requires 100 crore rupees this year for this year expenditure, and they are able to generate 100 crore revenue to take care of this year expenditure, it means they are borrowing only to pay for interest, which means this year you have been able to generate sufficient revenues to take care of this year expenditure. That is the reason it is considered to be good. European carbon border adjustment, is it an example of GSP? No, it is not an example of GSP. PYQs we'll discuss next class, don't worry. Right? If time is over, we'll discuss it in next class. Did I say I will skip PYQs? Right? Why do you keep on asking these questions? Okay. So imposition of restriction on India's steel sector by USA isn't a violation of TRIMS. No, it is not a violation of TRIMS. Why? Because there are exceptions. I told you this earlier also, there are exceptions. For example, what if government of India or government of USA raise the argument of security, domestic security, national security, just like government of India has raised now to control import of laptop? They'll simply say national security is a concern, so we will impose certain restrictions. That is generally allowed. Okay. Done? Can we go forward? Okay, done then. So let's stop the discussion today here. We'll continue the discussion next week. Next week, we'll continue the discussion. We'll start with concept of dispute settlement under WTO, then discuss WTO and subsidies, then take up questions, then take up the idea of subsidies. Okay, so take care. Have a great weekend ahead. But this is my advice to all of you. All of you, I'm pretty much sure all of you have received the link for additional slides. Please read those articles. Please read those articles. It is for your benefit that I'm sitting every day providing you the links or providing you the pictures from multiple newspapers, not just one newspaper, multiple newspaper. I have read them, but I'm not writing the exam. You are writing the exam. So you should read them. So that's it from my side. Take care. See you again next week. So today's Hindu newspaper article, couple of articles are there. Please read it. For example, inflation. Inflation in China, right, which is a deflation now. That article is there. Please read it. Central page article. There is one article there. Please read that on economy. Then there is one more article regarding the Fed tapering, right? A Fed tapering, etc., etc. Please read that, right? As a result of which, foreign investors are taking out, capital flight is happening. What we have discussed, it is there in the article today. Read it. Inflation articles are there. Please read it. So that's it. Around 4 to 5 articles are there in Hindu regarding economy. Please read those articles. Done. So take care. See you again next week on Monday, sharp at 6 a.m. Right? So have a great weekend.